burst onto the national scene by rushing for 2 touchdowns to lead the Bulldogs to a 17-10 victory over Notre Dame and the national championship of college football. After 3 years in the USFL, Walker moved to the National Football League in 1986 and joined the Dallas Cowboys. For 2 years, he shared the running back duties with Tony Dorsett. But now Dorsett's in Denver, and Herschel Walker is the main man in the Cowboys offense. The NFL's leader in total offense through 4 games, Herschel Walker is an offensive machine who can change a game on any given play. Tonight, Walker leads the Cowboys against New Orleans, an NFL franchise which took 2 decades to arrive. Quarterback Bobby Hebert leads the Saints a new power in the NFL, which last year, with his first ever winning season, exploded to a playoff team with a 12-3 record. And here in New Orleans, long-suffering fans are fired and ready for the Cowboys. The Superdome sellout will play a major role in tonight's game. As ABC Sports presents from the Superdome in New Orleans, the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Nissan, inviting you to test drive the new 240 SX. By Budweiser, Beechwood Aged, for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Holiday Inn Hotels, there's no better way to take a time out.
Welcome to the Superdome in New Orleans. A crowd of 70,000 on hand for the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. It should be a raucous crowd. They are very proud of their Saints, a playoff team a year ago at 12-3, and they're looking for better things this year. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and 2 very interesting football teams, the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. The Cowboys 2-2 through 4 games of this season. They need a win tonight, and they need that win to stay with the Giants and Cardinals in the NFC Eastern Division. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints, well, they're in the same position. They need a win to stay abreast of San Francisco and the Rams in the Western Division of the NFC. We'll be working alone tonight along with Dan Deerdorf. Al Michaels will be covering the baseball playoff championship series, which begins tomorrow night out in Los Angeles, the Mets and the Dodgers. But we will be talking to him at halftime, and I think we'll probably struggle along all right, Dan.
Well, you only did play-by-play for what, 17 years?
Pretty close to that.
You might remember some of it, I think.
A couple of interesting football teams. I mentioned it, Dan, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is a team that looks like they could explode, unfortunately, in either direction. They have that kind of potential.
When you look at the Cowboys, Frank, I mean, you see a team that is 2-2, but could have been 4-0,
exactly.
And conversely, could have been 0-4. Every one of the 4 ball games came down to a play in the last 2 minutes of the game that they could look to as the reason they won or lost. I know one thing for sure tonight. With the way the crowd's going to be in the Superdome, we're going to find out how far Steve Pelluer has come in terms of maturity. It's going to be tough on him.
He has put the thrill in the final 2 minutes of the Cowboys games this season. The New Orleans Saints now 12-3 a year ago, playoff team, losing big to Minnesota, but they're not playing the type of football that they played at the end of last year. They have beaten Tampa Bay, they've beaten Detroit, they've beaten Atlanta. 2 teams, we're not putting them down, but they're not your high-class teams to be.
No, and Jim Mora is not pleased, Frank, and if it's possible for a coach that's leading a 3-1 team to be upset, that's exactly what Jim Mora is. His ball club has not played well through the first 4 games, and a playoff team of a year ago, and he says that's just unacceptable. It's been a difficult week of practice. A couple things going for the Saints tonight and some interesting things to watch. One, when they have the ball, a running back named Ironhead. You gotta love it. 255 pounds plus Craig Ironhead Hayward. Defensively, maybe the best linebacking package in the entire NFL, led by Ricky Jackson, who already has 6 sacks on the season. But maybe the biggest thing for the Saints tonight is the crowd in the Superdome. Monday Night Football hasn't been here since '84, and it's party time in New Orleans.
And as we look down on the field, it will be the Dallas Cowboys kicking off to New Orleans. And Dan touched on the fact that Monday Night Football has not been here since '84 because of the Saints' record, and they did not have a winning season until a year ago, and that took 21 years to get that winning season. Monday Night Football was not here very often, and the Saints were able to only win 1 out of 8 of those Monday night games. Crowd will be in it tonight, and for another reason too, Dan, the Saints and the Cowboys have met 12 times, and it's a little discouraging when you look at the record.
Yeah, it's 1-11 with New Orleans only winning 1 of those 12. And when you combine that with their record having won only once on Monday Night Football, it's easy to understand why the people here in New Orleans are a little apprehensive about tonight's game. But if you look at it on the positive side, it's a chance for the Saints and their fans to put a lot of ghosts to rest tonight.
Mel Graves deep along with Gene Atkins, and Roger Ruzick will kick off for Dallas, and they're in it already. Capacity crowd, and most of them are on their feet. Mel Graves out over the 25-yard line, close to the 27-yard line, where New Orleans will bring out their offensive unit. There's Bobby Hebert, 68.6% completions. Tops in the NFC. A conservative offense in many ways for the New Orleans Saints. They led the league in time of possession a year ago. As we look at this offensive unit, a little bit of trouble in the offensive line as you look at the skill positions. Lonzel Hill off to a good start. With 19 receptions for New Orleans, and the setbacks will be Hilliard, and Ruben Mays opens with Hilliard. They did not anticipate that. Hilliard split to the left, Mays deep in the I formation on 1st down and 10. That's Mays, a 2-time Pro Bowler who has seen little action thus far for New Orleans. He'll get 3 out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Let's take a look at the defensive unit for the Dallas Cowboys. Familiar names, but a changing of the guard to some degree. Too Tall Jones having another superb season. He just defies any sort of age restriction. Linebacker, trouble at this position, no question about that. Gary Cobb has come on well for them. And Ron Francis will open at the right cornerback. He's been out for many weeks with a dislocated shoulder. 2nd down and 7. Craig Hayward is in along with Hilliard now. And the Saints hammer the middle for a yard, maybe a yard and a half. It'll be 3rd down at 5 as the Saints bring in their 2 extra wide receivers. And out comes Hayward.
Looks like the Saints using Hayward there on a 2nd down situation. Maybe going at the Cowboys with a little more speed offensively, putting Hilliard and Mays in the backfield at the same time. But that guy is stout. 255 pounds plus, and that's a lot of man toting the football.
That are stout. 3rd down. Saints anticipating they're in the passing situation. They have the 4 wide receivers in the game now. Hebert from the shotgun. Hebert right on target, fires it complete. It goes out to Eric Martin, the leading receiver for the Saints, has the yardage for the 1st down. Bill Bates in that lockup with Eric Martin, and if you can get that kind of lockup, you're going to go there all night long.
Yeah, exactly, because Bates, normally a safety, does not want to be put in the position of having to lock up with Eric Martin, a full-time wide receiver. Give that advantage to New Orleans all the time. But that type of pass, get used to it tonight. This is a very controlled passing game employed by New Orleans. Seldom do they go over the top. Do they really go for the long bomb? Why would you when Hebert is so skilled at throwing the shorter stuff?
Mays deep in the I formation once again. Hebert on 1st and 10. Fires underneath again. The conservative pass complete to Hill. Lonzel Hill short of the 1st down, up close to midfield. Ron Burton dropping defensively there for Dallas from the outside linebacking position.
Lonzel Hill, a 2nd-year player. His father, J.D. Hill, with the Buffalo Bills in Detroit, a teammate of mine in the college all-star game, and a sensational football player in his own right. But this kid, all he does is catch the ball. Doesn't have blazing speed, runs good patterns, and catches almost everything that comes his way. A lot like his dad.
Hayward and Hilliard on short yardage, 2nd down and 1. Hayward, the rookie #1 draft pick that Dan was talking about a moment ago, that weighs about 255 pounds, but so quick, so agile with that. And that is a horse and a half.
Yeah, to quote Keith Jackson, he may be a horse and 3/4, or he may go the limit. He may be a double. Only 5'11", but light feet, able to stay on his feet, spin, bounce off tacklers. He's more than just a one-dimensional football player. There's a lot more to Hayward than just slam it in there.
1st and 10. The Saints have a drive going. Hilliard deep in the I formation now for the Saints. Ball near the 48-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Motion man, Donzel Hill. Hebert with a good pocket, fires it complete to Hill, breaks the tackle, and he's inside the 40-yard line. Donzel Hill gets another first down for the Saints. They're very close to it now. They're going to mark it near the 39-yard line.
The Cowboys this time came with a blitz. Eugene Lockhart came up the middle, and Hill read that blitz and broke off his intended pass pattern. And Francis, a little bit rusty from not having played much, was behind on his coverage and then missed the tackle to boot on Lonzel Hill. And I think New Orleans right off the bat showing how they mean to control the football tonight against the Cowboys with the short passing game.
Less than a yard for the first down on 2nd down. Mays opening on the left side, and he hammers down to the 30-yard line. Dean Lockhart making the stop there for Dallas, but finding a big opening over in the left side behind Dombrowski, and Edelman is Reuben Mays, who in his first 2 years went to the Pro Bowl. You probably know the story if you have followed the NFL this season. He was a holdout for 10 days right prior to the start of the season. He wanted to renegotiate a contract, and Jim Finks, the general manager, president of the New Orleans Saints, said no thank you. He came back a week before the start of the season, and he has not played much since then. Only 28 attempts into tonight. 1st down and 10. The Saints at the 30-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Hebert, under pressure, manages to get the ball off. Tice, the tight end, playing for an injured Hobie Brenner, gets the completion, but very little pickup on that.
I'm trying to figure out how he even got the ball anywhere near John Tice with Jim Jeffcoat hanging off his shoulder. Bobby Hebert that time from the blind side was hit by Jeffcoat, and that's the reason for the short pass. That could have been disastrous for New Orleans if Jeffcoat would have had a cleaner shot.
2nd down and 10. The ball inside the 31-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Hebert, like several of the New Orleans Saints, a former USFL All-Star, came with Jim Mora when Mora took over here 3 years ago.
Cowboys like to blitz in this situation.
2nd and long. Breaking it back is Hilliard, one of the smaller running backs in the league, but he will turn it inside, and he can break for big yardage with that style of attack. He gets about 3 down to the 28-yard line. Michael Downs in there, the leading tackler for the Dallas Cowboys once again this season. New Orleans playing their kind of game, Dan. Very conservative calls on the passing game. This shows you the way they like to play it. Well, that's why they dominate in times of possession.
It's ball control, time of possession. They led the league last year. They're leading the league again this year. And it's exactly because of this short passing game.
Shotgun, 3rd and 7. Pocket collapses, but Hebert fires the ball to Perryman, the rookie from Miami, and he's down close to the 5-yard line. Hebert staying in the pocket as it collapsed. Perryman with man-for-man coverage, and he broke clear at the last moment. Hebert got it in.
Well, you talk about the pocket collapsing, but it was very late. Look at Perryman get the right hand, move it to the inside on Francis. That's very borderline on offensive interference on moving to the inside, but Hebert still with plenty of time in the pocket. He has his vision lane down the middle, a little bit behind Perryman, but it's there, and the Cowboys are going to have to pressure Hebert more than this, or they're going to be in trouble.
1st down, goal to go. They mark it at the 7-yard line. Hilliard in the I formation. Donzel Hill in motion. Hill dive for the end zone.
Well, there's a new look. Notice how things have been relaxed a little bit on the end zone celebration. We've got a flag.
Illegal use of the hands, 99 defense, penalty refused, touchdown.
Kevin Brooks, illegal use of the hands, refused, naturally, touchdown New Orleans. Big drive for New Orleans. Lonzel Hill culminating that drive from 7 yards out. Bobby Hebert sharp again.
Again, look at the protection in the middle, and this has to be some sort of a blown coverage by the Cowboys, allowing Lonzel Hill all alone out in the flat. Bill Bates too late reacting to the play and coming over. You get the feeling that Hill wasn't his guy to begin with, but that's a mistake you cannot make down at the 5-yard line, allowing a wide receiver to come that wide open.
Our referee tonight is Gene Barth.
I wonder if they're having a problem with the 30-second clock or the 45-second clock.
After a review of instant replay, the call stands. Touchdown.
Well, I guess they were looking to see if he actually crossed the goal line. It was pretty apparent that it was a touchdown, but
of course they would not review the illegal use of hands, so it had to be that.
Yeah, so I guess they were being safe, but clearly and easily a touchdown for New Orleans.
Morton Anderson for the conversion. The Saints, before a capacity hometown crowd, have taken the lead on the opening series. Let's look once again. Again, Hebert with a lot of time. It collapses slowly. But Hill eases up and moves to the outside. He's wide open.
Did you see him do that little, what we call a slow block at the beginning? Acted like he was blocking, then released out into the flat. And a pretty easy opening drive for New Orleans. They're up 7-zip.
Bobby Hebert has taken the Saints 72 yards on 11 plays, 5 of 6 on the completion record. Lonzel Hill, 3 of those catches.
Something to point out there, Frank, is that New Orleans did almost exactly the same thing last week in their game against Tampa Bay. They went 70 yards on the opening drive, but only got 2 field goals after that.
Morton Anderson kicks off. Black is deep along with Kelvin. Martin, and Anderson puts it in the back of the end zone where it'll stay. It'll be a touchback and out to the 20. Steve Pelluer comes on for the Dallas Cowboys. Their quarterback, the 5-year veteran, but treated by many as almost like a rookie. Came in for Danny White in '86 and was pounded rather severely when Danny White broke his wrist. Danny White came back and took it over a year ago, and then Pelluer came back at the end of last year. It's been an up and down sort of career thus far for Steve Pelluer, and he has put the thrill into the final 2 minutes of both a couple of games that they have played, primarily the Pittsburgh game, the opener, which they lost in the final minute. But here he is out of the University of Washington, Steve Pelluer, the heir apparent to the quarterbacking job of the Dallas Cowboys, 1st and 10 at their own 20. Pelluer fires and it's complete and goes out to Ray Alexander. And let's take a look at the New Orleans defense. A change over at the left defensive end as Frank Warren has moved in for James Geathers. The linebackers that Dan spoke of at the outset of the telecast. Ricky Jackson, 6 sacks thus far in this young season. And there is a secondary headed by perhaps Reggie Sutton, who is making his 2nd start tonight. 1st down and 10 Cowboys. Herschel Walker, big opening. And the machine is out to midfield. They'll mark it at the 49-yard line, but Brett Maxey made the saving tackle there on Herschel Walker.
And Timmy Newsome is lead blocker on that play. A little slow to get up, but he's finally up and looks like he's going to stay in the game. But again, Herschel Walker, your heart rate just elevates a bit every time the football is under his arm. I don't know that there's another player in the league, with maybe the exception of Bo Jackson, who is so close to scoring on every play he has the ball.
Walker following Newsome. And Timmy Newsome collects a block at about the 47-yard line, and this time Walker's held to about a 3-yard pickup as Vaughn Johnson, the inside linebacker on the right side for New Orleans, moves over to make the stop. Herschel Walker coming into tonight, 402 yards rushing, 587 total yards. He also has 19 receptions as the Cowboys' leading receiver.
He's almost too good to be true, Frank. His practice habits, his demeanor, he's low-key, the ultimate team player. For a player of that caliber, he's really low-key.
Newsome in one of his infrequent carries inside the 45-yard line, a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Cowboys opening with Darrell Smith over at left tackle. Mark Tooney has an injured knee, and he will not be in action tonight. And the grand old man at center, Tom Rafferty, now in his 13th season, part of that offensive line, a rebuilding offensive line as the Cowboys look to become bigger.
The 30 and 45-second clocks here at the stadium aren't working, so Steve Pellure's on his own trying to judge the time.
Two tight ends, Chandler and Folsom. Walker upended and down at the 45-yard line. Sam Mills, perhaps the smallest linebacker, at least in terms of stature, in the National Football League at 5'9", 225 pounds. Hits Walker where you have to hit him, and that's low.
But the one thing about Sam Mills, he may be the toughest linebacker in the league to block. You see Ricky Jackson going upfield taking on the play, but there's Sam Mills getting low. And when you're 5 feet 9 inches high, or tall, or short, whatever you want to say, it's not that hard to get low and take on a tackler, take on a ball carrier, rather, down around his knees.
Mel Gray back for New Orleans. Mike Saxon having a super year, killing the football inside the 20-yard line. Into tonight, he was leading the NFL in that capacity. This time, he'll catch the end zone. And New Orleans will have their second possession at the 20, and flags are all over the field.
Well, we've got a good fight going down at the 20-yard line. And mixing this one up pretty good. I see Brett Maxey, one of the Saints, who's really incensed. Number 39.
Joe Colbrand, the linebacker, who made a start tonight, or could see a lot of action tonight, for Swilling was also in on that.
There's not an official on this field that still has his flag in his pocket. They are everywhere.
Gene Barth calls his boys together. They'll sort it out.
Eugene Lockhart was one of the original guys involved. I think Colbrand and Lockhart were the original combatants, and then Brett Maxey, in National Hockey League terms, was the third man in, I believe. Now there's Lockhart and Colbrand, and here comes Maxey. Yeah, you can see he gives Lockhart a little shot.
Disqualification fouls. Number 56, Dallas. Number 55, New Orleans. They're both disqualified.
Ooh, disqualified.
Lockhart will leave. Colbrand will leave, and that will really impact on New Orleans.
Well, how about Eugene Lockhart, the starting middle linebacker of the Cowboys, and Colbrand's backup, basically, who may have to play a lot tonight, or would have played if it wasn't for Pat Swilling. But disqualifications, something pretty severe must have happened to warrant disqualifications in a game like this.
Lockhart remains on the field at the moment. And we'll see how long. There he is in the middle of the huddle.
Let's look at it from behind and see if we... There it is on the left side of the screen. All right, granted, these guys are slapping at each other. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a hard time seeing that as a disqualification.
Maybe in the heat of all this game with a tremendous crowd, maybe that Gene Barth and the officials are trying to make an early statement.
Well, Lockhart's leaving the field.
He's out of there, as is Colbrand for New Orleans, and that'll mean some dramatic changes for both ball clubs.
Well, I'm sorry, Frank, but I have a hard time buying that. I just didn't see enough there to warrant disqualification.
Steve DiAsi will move in a middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. There's Lockhart. He's gone for the night, as is Colbrand.
Ooh, tough call. And the Dallas Cowboys, who've had linebacker problems all year long, are really suffering with that one. Steve DiAsi is going to have to take the place of Lockhart in the middle, and they're down to the bare minimum.
5:35 remaining in the first quarter. From New Orleans, the Saints on top 7-0. Reuben Mays looked inside, nothing doing there. Tried to take it to the outside, and DiAsi and Burton there defensively for Dallas. A gain of a couple. It'll bring up second down and 8. And Reuben Mays seeing more action than we anticipated this evening. Only 2 carries last week, only 28 for the season after a couple of seasons which he gained over 2,200 yards. And here is Colbrand, his reaction on the sidelines of being eliminated.
Well, I can certainly sympathize with him. I've seen a lot worse things than that in a National Football League game that didn't get anyone thrown out.
Hilliard. And Dalton Hilliard at 5'8" and 204 pounds spins and twists his way out of the 25-yard line. They'll mark it at the 26. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Gary Cobb defensively sends a strike. Interesting, in the same division, San Francisco, New Orleans, they have the best records. And of course, New Orleans, their 2 losses to the 49ers.
New Orleans will be hard pressed to equal that record again. And we'll get into that later. When you see the strength of their schedule, the teams they have to play as this season goes on, that'll be tough to do.
Hebert from the shotgun. Cowboys bring the blitz. Wide open is Eric Martin. Bill Bates says he got the fumble. The ball was ruled down close to midfield. Gary Cobb came on the blitz for the Cowboys, put the Cowboys in man for man.
This is Eric Martin lined up right here, and this is Bates. Watch Bates get spun all the way around backwards, man coverage all the way, and this is absolutely no contest whatsoever. Eric Martin just wide open on the play. Dallas came with the blitz, goes to man coverage. That's Manny Hendricks, rather. I said Bill Bates. That's Manny Hendricks, 45. Bates coming in on the play late, but still, the Cowboys locking up man-to-man coverage, not being able to handle the New Orleans receivers.
Saints on the march again at midfield, 1st down and 10. Hebert back. Under pressure, throws it away. Perryman was going deep, covered by Francis, but the pressure was on Hebert, and very wisely, he just unloaded.
And if you thought Bobby Hebert there is yelling at one of his offensive linemen, he's actually yelling over to the bench. And I think that's a situation where Hebert really never intended to complete that pass. The coverage was solid by the Cowboys, and he just overthrew that by enough, in essence, throwing it away.
2nd down and 10. Reuben Mays breaks it back against the grain. Almost springs it, but he's dropped there for a pickup of a couple. Kevin Brooks playing with a slightly sprained ankle. One of 4 first-round draft picks that anchor that 4-man line of the Dallas Cowboys. Ed Jones, a first-round pick way back in '74, and there's Kevin Brooks, first pick in '85, and then Danny Noonan in '87, and Jim Jeffcoat in 1983. Interestingly enough, they have been starting up until tonight with Francis and all free agent secondary.
Feast or famine in Dallas, whether you're a lineman or a defensive back.
They have been drafting up and down over the past few years.
Dallas is showing blitz. Will they come with it?
3rd and long. Dallas tries to deal inside, and they get caught as Hilliard moves to the outside. Hebert read it beautifully. Dallas trying to bring the pressure up the middle. Nobody out there to cover Hilliard. Gary Cobb tried to recover and get to him. He couldn't do it.
Well, this is just classic. This is the all-out blitz by the Cowboys up the middle, and New Orleans has worked in this all week long. It takes the recognition by Hilliard. You see him only take 3 or 4 steps to his right, immediately look back to his quarterback, and Hebert really making it look extremely simple. But it's a little more coordinated than that between this guy, Dalton Hilliard, and his quarterback, Bobby Hebert.
Hebert now 7 of 9, 87 yards. He has the 1 touchdown. 1st down again, New Orleans. Inside the Cowboys' 35-yard line. Mays and Reuben Mays this time will be dropped for a loss at the 36-yard line. Danny Noonan and Michael Downs defensively there for the Cowboys. Noonan coming off a big day against Atlanta. He had never scored a point in his career. Had an interception for a touchdown and a safety against Atlanta.
And I believe the booing in the crowd is to Danny Noonan, who has had some rather derogatory things to say about the city of New Orleans this past week.
How about coming right out and saying it? He called it what? I guess it's not the prime time here. He said
he called New Orleans the armpit of the world. He had a bad experience down here with Nebraska last year as they played in the Sugar Bowl, and he is not really beloved by the citizens of New Orleans.
2nd and long, 2nd and 13, and Hebert was able to get the ball in motion as Jim Jeffcoat unloaded on him. The pocket this time collapsed before the receiver could uncover. And of course, they're a little sensitive in New Orleans. They're very proud of
Well, I think,
and well, they should be.
Anyone has the right to be sensitive to comments like that. Here's the second time we've seen so far Jim Jeffcoat get a hit on Hebert, forcing a bad pass. That time he wasn't even blocked as he went upfield and then dealed back to the inside. And we've seen a lot of big plays over this Sun Devil from ASU, Jim Jeffcoat.
Third down long. Four for 4 will win you a lot of ball games on your third down conversion. Hebert has it batted away.
Guess who?
Ed Jones, and he continues. This man has been deflecting balls throughout his entire career.
I mean, this guy, when you say no one has ever done it better, this guy has some of the best eye-hand coordination any defensive lineman has ever had. Now, it helps when you block the guy. Stan Brock, the right tackle, just lets him go. But when you're 6'9" and put those hands up in the air and have the coordination to direct them towards the football, you bat that ball away. And to me, there's not much difference between that and a sack. 74 career deflections for the big man on the left side of the Cowboys. Brian Hansen to punt for New Orleans. Kelvin Martin deep for Dallas. Hansen puts it up high. And beautiful punt by Hansen. That hit a Cowboy.
And it did touch a Cowboy. Michael Adams is down there quickly for New Orleans.
I think that's going to be a New Orleans touchdown. That hit one of the Cowboys, did it not? That hit one of the Dallas Cowboys.
And it's a New Orleans recovery.
If it didn't hit one of the Cowboys, it was awful close.
Gene Barth and his crew once again having to sort this one out.
One of the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not sure if his number was on the ground, and the ball was extremely close.
The ball was touched. The ball was touched by a receiver. New Orleans recovered in the end zone. By rule, it's New Orleans ball at the spot of the touch, first and goal.
You cannot advance that ball, but you can recover it. New Orleans has a first down goal to go.
Okay, let's take a look at it. That's Everson Walls, number 24. You see him on the ground now. Now let's see if we can run this on. Let's move the tape. There comes the football, and you can see him hit him right in the back. That's good, guys. You could see the ball hitting Everson Walls right in the back. There's Walls again with his legs up in the air.
He made the block, made a good block, but no good deed goes unpunished.
He had no idea at all that that football hit him.
Michael Adams downs it for New Orleans.
Watch that ball come down. It'll hit the turf first and then take a bad bounce right into the back of Everson Walls, hitting him right on the hip. Bad break for the Dallas Cowboys, and this guy, a perennial Pro Bowl ball player.
The delay continues. It could be they are looking at the replay to see exactly where the contact was made. The ball cannot be advanced. It can be recovered. And they just want to make sure they are positioning the ball at the right yard marker.
That's one of the NFL's strange rules, I think, about that ball not being able to be advanced. Treated in many ways just like a muff, but
replay official tonight, Mark Burns. He has already been active. We'll look at it one more time.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. You can see Everson Walls on the ground. Here's the football in the air. Watch it come down, hit the turf, and then bounce right on into Everson Walls.
Walls has made a good block.
Ball hits right on the 7-yard line and then right into the back of Everson Walls, who's on the 6.
You might ask, why is he making that block? He is trying to get that ball to go into the end zone, doing his job.
And this play is going to stand as is. Gene Barth says, let's get on with it. And the Saints, first and goal.
Leading 7-0 with 1:12 remaining in the first quarter. Tom Landry on the sidelines looking on in his 29th year. Hilliard deep in the eye for New Orleans. Hill makes the move. Hebert, lots of time, no receiver. Now the back of the end zone, complete. Eric Martin. Hebert stayed in the pocket. Could not find a receiver. Flag is down close to the line of scrimmage, and the preliminary indication is holding against New Orleans. But Eric Martin kept it alive, moving along the back of the end zone until Hebert could get the ball to him.
That time Bobby Hebert rolling to his right. Let's see if we
Holding, 61 offense. 10 yards.
That's Joel Hilgenberg, the right guard. He was working that time against Kevin Brooks. And Brooks finally broke away and went to the outside. That's the toughest thing for an offensive lineman to deal with, Frank, being called for holding and bringing back one of your team's touchdowns. There's no place to hide out there, either in the field or on the floor of it.
Dan, you know, and Hilgenberg had a good block, but when Hebert rolled to the right, he lost that pressure, and it's almost instinctive for you to make that grab.
Well, a lot of times you don't understand why your man is moving away from you to the outside. And you may get caught with that right arm in a bad position. That's what happened to Hilgenberg.
First down, goal to go. 16-yard line of the Cowboys. Hebert back again. High, intended for Lonzo Hill. And Hebert will look over to the sidelines. Plays being called by the offensive coordinator, Carl Smith, as we look once again.
This guy has been enjoying good protection all day long. Danny Noonan that time being effectively blocked by Brad Edelman, the left guard. Little face mask action going on in there, but you're going to find stuff like that in the pit all game long.
Second down, goal to go. Eric Martin in motion. And this is Reuben Mays. Tries to get outside. A lot of traffic out to the outside, and Mays out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down, goal to go. Everson Walls up there defensively for Dallas.
Well, here comes a situation for New Orleans offensively that teams work on during the course of the week. Being in the scoring position inside your opponent's 20-yard line and having a third and long goal to go distance. This is going to be a 15-yard play for the New Orleans Saints, and believe me, they've worked on it.
But what you don't want to do, and this is a very conservative team, is give away what is almost a chip shot to Morton Anderson, a three-pointer.
Now, you could even still take a sack here and still be well within Anderson's range. How big of a blitz are they going to see? That's the question.
Hebert picked off. Everson Walls.
Well, Everson giveth and Everson taketh away.
And it could be that Jones might have deflected this one. It looked like he had a big hand up there, and at 6'9", that goes very high. Let's take a look again, and you get an idea of what he's trying to throw through down here.
And it is Ed Jones who hits the ball again. Last week he bats one. Danny Noonan takes it in for a touchdown. This week he saves the touchdown. Everson Walls is off the hook.
That's 2 tonight.
Tom Dempsey will have tried to kick the longest field goal in National League history. They're sending him on with 2 seconds left. Scarpetti will hold. Here's the snap. The ball is down. Dempsey kicks. It's on the way. It is good. It's good.
As Alex Kara said, there's no way he can kick it that far. Morton Anderson.
I think if
leading
there's
the NFL all-time in percentage of field goal accuracy. On first and 10, Walker to the outside, gets about a yard as he goes out at the 10-yard line, and Cowboys dodge another bullet, another deflection by Ed Jones, his second of the night, his 75th career deflection. He's a remarkable man.
And you know that career stat is only 9 years old. That's how long ago the NFL started charting batted balls. This is Jones' 14th year. You have to think how many he would have if they would have kept track of over those extra years. Uncanny.
What do they say if they could ever let him go and be involved in the pass rush? They use him so much against the run, but he is a force against the pass just by being 6'9" and penetrating and getting up so high. Second down and 7. Walker again. Walker over the 15 to the 17-yard line. It'll be third down and 2. Next Monday night, we'll be in Philadelphia for ABC's Monday Night Football. Phil Simms and the Giants coming off a squeaker against the Washington Redskins will go against the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia getting in a little bit of trouble early in the season, the NFC Eastern Division.
But they beat a playoff team last Sunday and yesterday in Houston, and of course suffered the loss of Mike Quick in that ball game. But Greg Garrity came on and had a big effort yesterday as They may not get this off before the first quarter comes to an end.
They will not get it off. So join us next Monday night. We'll also be watching Randall Cunningham of the Philadelphia Eagles. He is exciting. New Orleans over the Cowboys 7-0. And we'll be back for the second quarter after this message and then a word from your local station.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Nissan, inviting you to test drive the new 240 SX.
We're back in the Superdome in New Orleans. Frank Gifford along with Dan Deerdorf. Al Michaels in Los Angeles, getting ready for tomorrow night's kickoff of the baseball's Championship League Series. And we go with the Mets and the Dodgers tomorrow night. We'll be hearing from Al at halftime. We begin the second quarter. The Dallas Cowboys, 3rd down and 2 inside their own territory. Herschel Walker gets the first down out over the 20-yard line, near the 23-yard line, upset there by Vaughn Johnson.
A much-needed first down by Herschel Walker, and this guy wants to handle the ball 25 and 30 times a ball game, but there are some teams that you get the impression going into a game, and I know Dallas feels this way with the Saints, that they're not going to win on just the shoulders of Herschel Walker. I think a lesser opponent, he's enough to carry you, but I think Dallas knows going into this game, more people have to become involved, and the two guys they look to try to win tonight's game, the quarterback Steve Pallure and Michael Irvin, their talented rookie wide receiver.
On first down, play action by Pallure. Has the time, and wide open is Irvin, the #1 draft pick out of Miami.
Boy, my timing's been so bad all year long. It's about time I called one right before it happened.
You just got to keep going with it.
But Irvin's the guy. He's going to come all the way across the field in motion and then a crossing pattern. And this is not the type of coverage that I think New Orleans wanted to find themselves in on a crossing pattern. Zone coverage all the way, and Irvin effectively stayed underneath the deep umbrella.
Good work by Pallure. He waited until Irvin cleared the zone. And now Irvin is being helped off the field.
And this is disastrous for the Cowboys if he's out for an extended period of time.
Irvin grabbing the left knee. First down Dallas, 43-yard line. Walker wants to work the other way.
Oh, look at Pallure.
Pallure with a big block, and Walker drops the football, loses it. And another Cowboy is there, but did he get it back? Kevin Gogan. The Saints say they have it, the Cowboys say they have it, and Pallure did throw a block that turned Herschel Walker upfield. No, and they're getting to New Orleans. Gogan had covered it, but when he rolled over the football, it came loose.
Well, Kevin Gogan sure appeared to fall on the ball. Let's see how he ended up losing it. Now, this is Walker after he's already reversed his field, as one of the Saints trip him up and then just loses the ball on his own. Now, there's Gogan, who had the ball, and then he got hit. Number 28, Gene Atkins, I think, came in and put the hit. Sam Mills was there as well.
I think we'll probably take a look at a replay on this.
But here's the question. If he's got the ball in his possession and he's down on the field, is that the end of the play?
If nobody had touched him, he was able to get up and run, and the ball really is not dead until he's touched. Herschel just lost it on his own.
Now here comes Gogan. Now watch him come in.
After a review of this replay, the call stands.
Yeah, he never did have possession of the football.
Never had it.
Yep, that's a good look at it there from the end zone. Kevin Gogan slid 3 or 4 yards, but never did have control of the ball, and I think that's the key. If he would have been able to solidly hold on to that football, it would have been the Cowboys' ball.
Sam Mills ultimately recovered it, and New Orleans has the football at their own 45-yard line. Another turnover. Hebert. Hilliard. And Hilliard running hard inside Dallas territory near the 49-yard line. Gain of 6. Hilliard carries a lot of power in a very tiny frame. 5'8", 204 pounds in his third year. Played at LSU. And, of course, a local favorite.
Big Kevin Gogan over on the Dallas Cowboy bench. Second-year guy out of Washington, and He's thinking, what if? What if I only could have held on to that football? We wouldn't be in the jam we're in.
Second down and 4. Ruben Mays in the I formation for New Orleans. Wide open is Martin. Eric Martin into tonight, the leading receiver for the Saints, put a good move to the inside. And Francis bought it all the way, broke it to the outside. He's wide open.
Yeah, I don't know what Ron Francis is thinking when he bites on what really was kind of a nominal move to the inside. That move spun Ron Francis in a 360. And Bobby Hebert, I'm sure the first time he took a look over to his left, could hardly believe it when he saw how wide open Eric Martin was.
Francis has come back, played a little bit in the nickel a week ago, but he had been out for 2 months with a dislocated shoulder. And Eric Martin just spun him all the way around and got a big gainer for New Orleans. 1st and 10 there at Dallas' 21-yard line. And here comes the big man, Greg Hayward. Hayward to the 17-yard line. Gain of about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Garth Saints. And right now, I think that's what the Saints offensively must look like to the Cowboys. Invincible. They're moving the ball at will. Not necessarily being done by Hayward, but the Saint passing game right now confusing the Cowboys.
Hilliard. Dalton Hilliard.
How's that for a little run forced by Bill Bates? Bill Bates was a good 3 or 4 yards into the New Orleans secondary, and he had a chance for a big loss on the play and missed the tackle.
Turns it inside, however, to Ed Jones and Diassi. And again, if you're just joining us, you're following the Cowboys. Eugene Lockhart was ejected from the game early. He had a confrontation with the New Orleans Saints, Joe Colbrand, and he also went out. So Steve Diassi is the middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd down and long.
And every 3rd down play for the Saints so far, Frank, has been a pass. In the shotgun again.
Francis the victim again by Brett Perriman, a timing pass to the 4-3 sprinter, the rookie from Miami.
And I think Ron Francis right about now is saying to himself, I was better off hurt. They are going right at him. Timing pattern all the way.
Beautiful loft by Hebert. Francis, man for man, with Perriman. Perriman with great speed just sprints right by him.
Ron Francis not anticipating that pattern at all. From the reverse angle, the Cowboys showing blitz, not really coming with it, just sending their 4 linemen, and Hebert is going to take advantage of that coverage, and I think they're replaying to see whether or not he had possession when he goes through the end zone. And right now this is up in the replay booth, and I think we could see as Perriman was moving across the end zone, he was bobbling the ball.
The call stands, touchdown.
But then you could see where he definitely gained control before he hit the sidelines in the end zone.
Well, I would not want to have taken that away from him here in the Superdome tonight.
Well, they would have if he wouldn't have got it under control. He fought it for a good 3 or 4 steps and then finally pulled it in just in time.
Morton Anderson to make it 14-0. The Saints are turning it on tonight. They're doing it in a very conservative way, a ball control way, and reading the Dallas defense perfectly. The reaction of Hebert as New Orleans goes out on top 14-0. The rookie out of Miami. And he is just now getting healthy with the touchdown catch, put the Saints up on top 14-0.
And what do you think, Frank, this game means to Brett Perriman, who really played a subservient role at Miami to one Michael Irvin? And Irvin on the opposite sideline, a little dinged up right now with the Cowboys, but Perriman, that's got to be a meaningful touchdown for him.
Anderson gets it into the end zone, and Kelvin Martin will bring it out. And Martin hit at the 15 and gets to the 17. And let's take a look once again at Perriman, who is coming off a very sore leg and just now getting healthy. And there is the possession right there. He basically was holding that ball up to say, look, I've got the football. So Perriman with a big play from Bobby Hebert And we'll be back in the Superdome in just a moment. Michael Irvin is back in the Dallas Cowboy huddle, the #1 draft pick, rookie from Miami, went out a short while ago, sprained ankle, and he is back into the lineup and appears to be all right. Dallas first down and 10. They need to get something happening. The ball near their own 18-yard line. Pallur back. Deep and wide open is Alexander, the former CFL star who played such a major role last week in the win over Atlanta. Pallur this time with a lot of protection. He's got the strong arm. Alexander wide open, little play action, holds the linebackers, and he drills it in.
Yeah, it's all off of the play action, Frank. It was the fake to Walker that froze the linebackers in the secondary, but Ray Alexander coming through when he has to, working that time against fifth-year cornerback Van Jakes, and this is a kind of passing game I think Pallur has to use, a lot of play action.
On first down, Walker turns back against the grain, puts the head down, and uses 230 pounds plus, and drills for 7 yards up to the 48-yard line. Tomorrow night it all begins right here on ABC. Baseball's division winners begin their quests for the league championship. The best of 7 series begins with game 1 of the National League contest as the NL East champion New York Mets meet the NL West champion Los Angeles Dodgers live at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on ABC Sports. I know you'll be looking on, Dan.
Absolutely. Brother Al will be holding for him.
Second down and 3, the Cowboys at their own 48-yard line. Pallur with a lot of time, tries to get the ball deep, but has to check off to Newsom, and Newsom will get the first down near the 46-yard line of New Orleans.
This is exactly what the Dallas Cowboys have to be. They have to be patient. They have to be selective. Granted, they're down 14-0, but there is really so much time left in the second quarter. With over 9 minutes, they can do anything they want to do. All they have to do is not push the panic button. And Steve Pallur, who hasn't had all the world of experience in his back pocket, this is a critical situation for him to show some maturity, to show he's in control, that he's the leader of this football team and capable of performing in the crunch.
He's 4 for 4. He has a first down inside the 46-yard line of the Saints. Pallur on top again. Finds Irvin. Flag is down, and Irvin is inside the 40-yard line of the Saints. Reggie Sutton was there defensively for New Orleans, and you saw Irvin grab that left ankle.
And we're going to get an offensive interference call against the Cowboys. It was thrown by the field judge, and a lot of times that play will involve the tight end.
Offensive pass interference, number 89. First down.
Thornton Chandler, the offensive tight end, who is replacing an injured Doug Cosby. Doug Cosby on the inactive list tonight.
And what's really distressing for the Cowboys is that play comes away from the football. I mean, that offensive interference was a good 25 or 30 yards away from the intended receiver. And in that context, you look at it as a needless penalty.
So the first down is at the 45-yard line now of the Dallas Cowboys following the 10-yard assessment. Newsom in motion. Pallur with a lot of time. Walker underneath. And Pallur looked deep, knew he had nobody there, wisely rolled out, hit Walker, got 10 of those yards back, and now he'll have second down and 10 as Sam Mills was there defensively for New Orleans.
The way you judge a defensive football team, how many people get to the football? Are we having one guy having to make an open field tackle? Are we having lots of people putting their hats on the ball carrier? Watch the crowd that Herschel Walker draws when he tries to go back to the middle of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 New Orleans Saints are in on the play. That's been a trademark of this defensive team, and Herschel Walker, talk about counting hits.
Second down, and Pallur under pressure throws the ball out of bounds in the general direction of Ray Alexander. It'll be third down at long yardage, and Irvin stays on the field, and they continue to look at the left ankle. He injured it a few plays ago, came back in on this series, and on the very first play had to go out again. Pallur now is 5 of 6. That's his first incompletion of the night. He has 73 yards. Big play for the young man coming up at the moment. Cowboys down 14-0. 8:30 remaining in the first half.
And I think Pallur, so far, Frank, if we're to assess his performance, I think he's playing extremely well, but he's forced to take a timeout here. Something was wrong, and the Cowboys take a timeout.
Running out of time, Pelluer very wisely avoids the penalty. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Cowboys when we come back. 1978 was the Cowboys' last appearance in the Superdome. It was also their last appearance in the Super Bowl. 3rd quarter, Roger Staubach looking for Butch Johnson. The Cowboys leading 13-3. Staubach hits Johnson. The Cowboys go out on top 20-3 over Denver, and they finally won it 27-10. A couple of great names from Cowboy history with the co-MVPs, Harvey Martin and Randy White. The glory years for the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Danny White. He, of course, replaced Roger Staubach. He's not been able to get the Cowboys back into the Super Bowl, and now he's watching the youngster, Steve Pelluer, in his position. Danny White, who now has so many of Roger Staubach's records. Pelluer back on 3rd down and 10. Fires a shot complete to Everett Gay, but a flag is down at the 35-yard line.
And Steve Pelluer has been sharp. Now this flag was thrown on the receiver in the play. It's going to be interference one way or the other.
Illegal contact, 22 defense, penalty refused, 1st down.
Van Jakes, who was covering Everett Gay, and Pelluer again caught the blitz, stayed in there until Gay broke into the open and actually just threaded it in there beautifully for the 1st down. So Pelluer off on a good night.
I think he's extremely sharp here, especially when you consider the circumstances. Down by 2 touchdowns, all the reason in the world to collapse. I think Pelluer is playing his best game of the year.
Near the 32-yard line, 1st and 10, Dallas. Walker hit right at the 30-yard line, and that's it.
Boy, count the black shirts on top of Walker there.
Late flag now has been thrown in.
Again, I have to talk about the Saints and how many hats they put on the ball carrier. Man, these guys get to the ball. Well, the Dallas folks think this one's against New Orleans.
Here's Gene Barth.
Illegal use of the hands, number 22 defense, a push to the face, 5 yards on the end of the run. It'll still be 1st down.
Well, Van Jakes going for the hat trick. Consecutive plays, consecutive fouls for the right cornerback.
And he clearly did it, too. Just a little over-aggressive in his play. And when the hand gets up around the face, they're just all in the open back in that secondary. You're not going to be behind someone. You're not going to be screened by anybody. When you commit that foul, you're there in the wide open for everybody to see.
1st down, Dallas. Inside the 26-yard line. Pelluer fires a shot, and he fires it in low to Kelvin Martin. And Martin at 5'9" and 160 pounds gets the reception. Smallest of the receivers, and we understand now that Michael Irvin has gone in for X-rays on that left ankle.
And again, look at Steve Pelluer using the play action fake to Walker again. The quick slant in. Good controlled passing game. The passing game he's using looks a lot like the one that New Orleans has put in use tonight.
Not a bad time for the Cowboys to go for a draw. They love it down here. Play and a bootleg by Pelluer. Newsom had slipped through the line of scrimmage, got to the sidelines. He'll get about 6 yards out of it.
I think they're ruling incomplete pass.
He did not have 2 feet down inside. Let's take a look at it again. From the end zone, we should see it well. Pelluer on the bootleg.
On the bootleg, he moves to his right. Let's take a look at it. There's the left. Ooh, and he stretches that right leg all the way out of bounds. And look at the position of the official. Exactly where he had to be. Good call. I have to assume, by the way, that Newsom elongated his body, that he thought he was farther away from the sideline than he actually was.
2nd and 10, 13-yard line of the Saints, and here's where the crowd begins to play their role. And we watched Steve Pelluer in Phoenix a couple of weeks ago, and he had a difficult time handling this. And the more you back away from that center, the louder this crowd is going to get.
Well, I don't know. He doesn't have the look of a guy that's getting...
2nd down.
Gene Barth just telling us that it was 2nd down with the incomplete pass.
His way of trying to quiet this crowd. Pelluer fires a shot into the corner. Kelvin Martin taking the ball away from the defender at 5'9". The youngster out of Boston College goes up, comes down with it. Here's a young football player at a great training camp and then suffered a couple of injuries, but during training camp, Tom Landry was the one who said he has been the best of all of our receivers, and a couple of key receptions tonight.
Timing pattern all the way. Martin is just going to stop on about the 2-yard line. He's going to run straight down and plant. You see him plant and watch him go up. Played pretty effectively by Reggie Sutton. But Kelvin Martin with a perfect route to stop, and when he turned, the ball from Pallure was right where it was supposed to be.
And the Cowboys shorten things up with 7:03 remaining in the first half. And let's take a look at it again. Kelvin Martin beautifully timed out. Reggie Sutton, who is perhaps the best man-for-man defender for the New Orleans Saints, was there. Good effort, great concentration by Kelvin Martin, finding the end zone, and the Cowboys are on the scoreboard. Good effort by this young man, Pallure.
Musial and Al Hurt. These guys have known each other for 25 years, a couple of good friends of mine. Stan, of course, still lives in St. Louis, and every time he's in New Orleans, he hooks up with his buddy. Al Hurt, a former part owner of this franchise, the New Orleans Saints, and you'd think with all the money these two guys have, they'd be able to get a seat that didn't have a bar right across their eyes.
They are right on the 50, however. Set to go. Ruzi hits it for Dallas. And Mel Gray will bring it out to the 19-yard line. Saturday, ABC's college football will feature a Big Ten battle. The Ohio State Buckeyes taking on undefeated Indiana. Or you'll watch a Pac-10 matchup when the Arizona State Wildcats host the Washington Huskies. So check the local listing in your area for the game you'll be watching. Action beginning live at 3:30 Eastern Saturday on ABC Sports. Indiana undefeated in the Big Ten. Undefeated period. They have the one tie, Dan.
That's because that was their first Big Ten game. The Big Ten having a little difficulty in the early going. How's that for the understatement of the year?
New Orleans leading 14-7. 6:55 remaining in the first half. 1st and 10. The ball at their own 19-yard line. Hebert. And this time, Francis provides good coverage as Hebert attempted to get the ball to the speedster Perriman. We talked about Brett Perriman teaming with Michael Irvin at the University of Miami, both rookies. Michael Irvin, of course, the All-American, the big play man, but Perriman last year had 15 receptions for the University of Miami, while Irvin had 44. So the lesser known, Irvin went in the first round, Perriman went to New Orleans in the second round, and they are getting it together tonight. 2nd and 10, New Orleans. Dalton Hilliard. Michael Downs defensively for Dallas. Hilliard with a gain of a couple.
If there has been a major improvement in the Cowboys and their defensive unit over the last couple of years, it's been the way that they have played the run. They went through a 3 or 4 year span where the flex defense was a defense that was solved by most offensive teams in the league, but they have really solidified things up front, and a lot of that credit goes to Danny Noonan, Jeff Coat, Brooks, and Ed Jones. These guys have really played the run better than they have in years past, but they're missing Lockhart right now, who got thrown out early.
3rd down, 7. Hebert looks it over. Timing pattern, and a beautifully thrown ball by Hebert into Robert Clark. Hebert with his own timing pattern to Clark.
And you talk about concentration on a football. I think we're going to see some of the best we've seen all year by Robert Clark of keeping an eye on the football when the coverage defensively is as good as it gets.
And by Everson Walls, one of the better ones.
There's actually some contact by Walls on Clark and then a little face mask action to wind it up, but through it all, Robert Clark stays with the ball and makes a catch.
New Orleans first down, their own 41-yard line. Greg Hayward, a big rookie out of Pittsburgh, gets to the 45-yard line, a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Seldom when Ironhead gets tackled do you see him driven backwards. I think more often than not, when he goes down tonight, the crowd of white shirts that's around him is going to be going his way.
Our exhibition game, Dan, against the Steelers. Third down, short yardage. How far did he go?
Remember the spin move, breaking to the outside, then ran away from the Steeler defense.
Second down, 7. Hilliard takes it back inside. Short of the first down, inside the Dallas Cowboys territory near the 49-yard line. Steve Diassi filling in for Lockhart, along with Ed Jones defensively on the side.
Let's spotlight Too Tall on the inside. John Tice, the tight end, blocking down and doing what he has to do. Stay with him, run him to the outside. Too Tall gets in on the play, but it's late, bringing up a 3rd and short for the Saints.
Basically doing his job. He plays the run. He's not the big man rushing the passer as he has been throughout his entire career, but he is also a force with those deflections that he is always getting. Hilliard spins and twists back inside, close to a first down. Great effort by Dalton Hilliard.
And that spot and that run is good enough for a New Orleans first down, who the Saints, challenged a little bit by the Cowboys coming back and scoring some points, are now putting together a solid drive of their own, and they've moved the ball into Dallas territory. A 3rd and short. It's nothing more than the surge that counts. You could see they were aiming to go off left guard, and Jeffcoat went way too far to the outside, and the guy who's supposed to make that play, Steve Diassi, the middle linebacker, over pursued, and Hilliard ducked back to the inside, got the first down.
The Saints keep the drive alive. First down and 10. Hebert, a little play action. This time gets in trouble. He's going down under a lot of pressure, and Jones got there late as Hebert had to step back into the pocket, but he will get the official sack.
He's going to get the sack, but really Jim Jeffcoat coming around from the other side. Stood up pretty well right off the bat by Stan Brock. Too Tall falls back to the inside, but you can see that it's Brooks there, it's Jeffcoat there, and Too Tall, just by staying active and hustling, comes out of it with the sack. And this guy, 14 years in the league. Keep in mind, he took a year off to do a little boxing and playing maybe the best football of his entire career. A marvel, a physical marvel to still be on that level at his age.
Second down, long yardage. No shotgun for New Orleans. Draw play, playing it conservative. Reuben Mays back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And let's take a look at Too Tall a week ago against Atlanta. The quarterback, Quist Miller. Top of your screen will be Jones, all 6'9". He gets another deflection. This was the 73rd of his career. There he is in the circle.
And Danny Noonan just plays catch with it. And you talk about a lineman's dream. Didn't run away from anybody, but Danny Noonan gets the touchdown. But all the credit in the world goes to this guy. And Frank, I think back to Monday night last year against the Giants, he bats one up in the air. The Jim Jeffcoat runs in for a touchdown. He did it against the Giants again last year.
Well, they count these sorts of things, and he's had 75 career deflections. At least that's over the period that they have been counting him. That's for 9 years. So we have the 2-minute warning for both benches. Bobby Hebert will come over to talk to Carl Smith, Jim Mora, and we'll be back at the Superdome in just a moment. New Orleans, they both need to win to stay tied in their division, Dan, and they're putting on quite a show.
Well, I think they are. I think it's time now for the Cowboy defense. They forced the Saints now into a 3rd and long situation, Frank. They need to stiffen here because they're going to have to play the crowd if they get too far behind. I think their offense showed some class, down 14-0, putting together a scoring drive, and I think the onus now is on their defense. If they can go into this locker room at 14-7, I think it's a positive thing for the Cowboys.
Knowing Bobby Hebert, Jim Mora, the New Orleans Saints, they will be very conservative. They have their lead, 14-7, 2 minutes remaining in the half. They will not do anything terribly chancy like that. Hebert throws it long, but just barely long. Intended out there for the speedster again, Brett Perryman, who is going to play a major role increasingly in the New Orleans offense with all that speed.
Well, why not go to it again? That's the same play that they ran for a touchdown. Just that fade pattern by the wide receiver and the quick release by Hebert.
That time a zone.
Yep, and that's not the coverage that you want to throw that pattern into.
Brian Hansen to punt away. Kelvin Martin is back for the Cowboys. Hansen lofts it up, and this should catch the end zone. And it does. So the Cowboys have 1:46 remaining in the first half, and they trail 14-7. 52-yard effort by Hansen. It begins tomorrow night with the National League. The Mets and the Dodgers. Al Michaels will be reporting at halftime, and there is the owner of the New Orleans Saints, colorful Tom Benson. Bought the team in June of '85, and what a remarkable turnaround we have seen. First winning season in 21 years, coming last season, a playoff team, a 12-3 record. The Cowboys now with 1:46 remaining in the half, on first down and 10. Pelluer almost gets it picked off, and this is the problem that Pelluer has been having at the end of the half, the end of the game, throughout this entire season, and Swilling had one right in the hands that he could have just walked into the end zone with.
Well, Pat Swilling plays that all the way, and if I'm Tom Landry, I've got to seriously consider telling Pelluer that whatever we do, this is not the place to make a mistake. Now, granted, Pelluer thought that Swilling was going to be down on the ground, that they threw a chop block on him to try to get his hands down, but still, that ball had nothing on it. And if I'm Landry, hey, I'm happy to go into the locker room down 14-7.
Second down and 10. Walker back to the line of scrimmage, and down he goes. Jim Wilkes defensively there for the Saints.
And I would think the Saints would consider using some of their timeouts to stop the clock.
Cowboys aren't thinking that way, Dan. They're going with a hurry-up offense.
Well, now this is, they better make it. They better make it.
Short of the first down, and the Cowboys with the hurry-up offense have given the Saints a little more time. Now the Saints will use a timeout, one would suspect, and they have.
Well, you know, Tom Landry and Steve Pelluer don't owe any of us an explanation, but I have to ask the question, what's the thinking there? You go into a hurry-up offense knowing that if you don't make the first down, or if you throw an incomplete pass, you're just giving more time on the clock over to the Saints. And I have a feeling that
they're on different pages.
That hurry-up offense is not exactly what Tom Landry was looking for.
Not at all. He had given two plays, and if the one play had been successful, then run the other play. Pelluer, again, I think, made a mistake, a youngster mistake. The play was not successful, but he came right back and ran the play in any event. And now New Orleans going to get the football back with two timeouts. They should get relatively good field position, and they'll have about a minute remaining on the clock. Dangerous return man is Mel Gray. Return one for 80 yards against Tampa Bay a year ago, so he can take it a long way for you. Mike Saxon to punt for Dallas. Low kick, not a good kick. Gray gets up to the 39-yard line. The Saints will have 1 minute on the clock. They have two timeouts remaining. And the crowd into it once again. Baseball Championship Series beginning tomorrow night.
That game gets underway out in Los Angeles. Orel Hershiser takes his 23-8 record to the hill. He'll be opposed by Dwight Gooden, 18-9, and I don't know how you could possibly expect to have a better matchup than that.
And a week from tonight, we'll be in Philadelphia. Buddy Ryan's Eagles against the Giants. Longtime rivals in the East. Eagles really need this one. And now Dallas wants timeout.
Dallas's second timeout.
And Dallas has one timeout remaining. And Tom Landry, in 29 years of coaching, he's seen just about everything, but it's been a very trying year for him this year with his young quarterback, Steve Pelluer. If you were around for the opening game of the season, late in the game, a couple of minutes remaining, he sent in a play. Pelluer got the play, set the wrong formation, rolled out, threw an interception that everyone felt cost them the game. He stuck with the youngster, and he has continued to stick with him. He's shown signs of brilliance, Dan, but also some questionable signs, the leadership that you need to run a football team.
Well, when you see the people that have played quarterback for the Cowboys over the years, Danny White and Staubach and Meredith and Morton, I don't know that Tom Landry has ever had to deal with a quarterback who, when he was on the field, didn't think the way that Tom Landry wanted him to think. And I think that's the case with Steve Pelluer. Landry admires his physical talents, but sometimes I think is in wonderment at what goes through his mind during the course of a game.
1st and 10, New Orleans. Tice, the intended receiver, overthrown. I think the long-term question for the Cowboys, will he develop this sense? Will he develop what it takes to run a ball club?
Well, you're never going to find a better athlete to play the position. I mean, all the physical tools are there. He's the most mobile quarterback the Cowboys have ever had. That includes Roger Staubach. His arm is as strong as any. His good-natured demeanor in the locker room is everything you'd like to have. He's intelligent. It's just some of the things he does on the field make Tom crazy. There's no other way to describe it.
To question one thing you said. Did Tom Landry and Don Meredith think alike?
Yeah, on the field, I think Meredith thought that way.
On 2nd and 10. Maybe a lot of time, a lot of cool. Fires, and it's incomplete. Ansel Hill does not handle the low ball. That would have been good for a first down. Manny Hendricks in the 4-0 defense for Dallas was there, but not a factor.
Well, there's Tom Landry, and I have to think that maybe while the rest of the team goes in the locker room and does their thing, he and Steve Pelor might pull up a chair, and he might tell Steve Pelor, Steve, you have played a beautiful first half, but one bonehead play can screw it all up. And I think that's the point he's going to try to get across. And they may get another chance if New Orleans doesn't convert here.
Either that or pat him and burp him.
He does look young, doesn't he?
3rd down and 10. Hebert, right on target. Bill Bates got there with the football and jarred it loose. And Bill Bates is known for this. Not good when you can isolate him man for man, but he will give you a pop.
Well, that's exactly what you expect out of your free safety. Dallas back in their prevent defense. You expect the free safety to time his arrival. And all it took was one little juggle of the football by Perryman, and Bill Bates put his hat right in his chest. How many times do we see it where the safety doesn't get there and a big play occurs? Textbook by Billy Bates.
44 seconds remaining in the half. Dallas has one timeout. Punting unit on for New Orleans, Brian Hansen. Kelvin Martin is back for Dallas. Not a good kick by Hansen. Depending upon what Tom wants to gamble on, the Cowboys will have relatively good field position. And let's take a look at Bates again from the free safety spot. He arrived there, delivers the blow, and out comes the ball.
Really, Perryman had the ball, and he really had that one step that it might take to pull that body and clutch it, pull the ball rather, and clutch it in towards his body. But he juggled the football, and Bill Bates then on his arrival jarred it loose. But hey, how could you throw it any better than Hebert throws it?
That's regular speed there.
Yeah, you can't run it a better pattern than that. That's just the way a safety ought to. That's the way you ought to play it.
Two hot-handed quarterbacks tonight.
Was that really regular speed?
1st and 10 Dallas. Their own 29-yard line, and Tom Landry says, let's try and get some points. In and out of the hands of Ray Alexander.
If you've been wondering who this guy is, who's walking behind Tom Landry holding his microphones, it's David Keith, the actor.
What is Elvis Presley?
I think you remember him in Officer and a Gentleman, and I guess he's got a new movie out now, Heartbreak Hotel, and plays Elvis Presley. So, you know, maybe Jerry Glanville left him a ticket here tonight.
Either that or we finally found Elvis.
David Keith, a big Cowboy fan, and you know, really the reason he's here, he was a roommate of Bill Bates at the University of Tennessee.
2nd down and 10. Pelor looks it over. Herschel Walker. Walker on his own gets first down yardage close to the 40-yard line. Clock ticking away. Pelor uses the timeout. That will be the Cowboys' last timeout.
The Saints still have a pair of timeouts.
Herschel Walker has given the Cowboys a first down. Interesting games last week around the league. Of course, a big one in the nation's capital yesterday. And as usual, it was a defensive battle. Lawrence Taylor returned from his 30-day suspension. And here is Griffin, the Washington Redskins quarterback, goes down in the first series, recovered by the Giants. It was that kind of a day all day long. Dexter Manley had quite a day. Lawrence Taylor with a couple of sacks on the day. The Giants holding on as Chip Lowmiller missed a conversion, a short field goal, and the Giants win at 24-23. And of course, Dallas trying to win tonight to stay with the Giants and the Phoenix Cardinals.
Really, Rippon played well enough to win, and the Redskins team played well enough to win. They've been having problems with Lowmiller, their second-round draft choice, and on his field goal when he had a chance to win it, he hooked it about as bad as a guy could.
Tough to call the plays. No timeout remaining for the Dallas Cowboys. Delore, good scrambler. This is taking a lot of time off the clock. They'll have to hurry their huddle. Down to 10 seconds. He'll throw the ball, try and get the incompletion to stop the clock. Down it goes and stops the clock with 1 second.
It looked for a moment like Pelor was trying to call a timeout. I'm not sure that he realized that the Cowboys didn't have any left.
Some of those things you have to realize.
Well, let's go into the Cowboys playbook and get their 1 second 51-yard play.
Go back to Minnesota. What was the year?
Yeah, when Drew Pearson gets the Hail Mary. Everybody runs the same play in this situation. Look for 3 receivers to one side. There they are.
Lofting the ball, of course, looking for either the completion in the end zone or the half cannot win. In on a defensive foul. That ball is loose.
That's a fumble.
And covered by Dallas. And the half will expire.
That Jumpy Gathers, I believe, came around from the backside, and a good half of football.
The Saints lead the Cowboys 14-7. Both the Saints and the Cowboys need to win tonight to stay on top of their respective divisions. Look once again, and we'll be returning to the Superdome after this message from the National Football League and then a word from your local station. Stay with us.
When you've got an Epson, you've got a lot of company.
$70,000 in the Superdome in New Orleans watching the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans on the season 3-1. They need a win tonight to go 4-1 and stay with San Francisco and the Rams in the NFC Western Division. The Dallas Cowboys at 2-2 need a victory to stay with the Giants and the Phoenix Cardinals in the NFC Eastern Division. 14-7, the Saints lead over the Cowboys as we get set to kick off the second half. Morton Anderson. Line drives it. Taken there by Kelvin Martin. And Martin exploits a gap out to the 25-yard line. Even numbers for the first half. Saints time of possession. This is the dominant number in all their sets.
Yeah, it's not normally a 2-1 margin, but the Saints controlling the football. But the Cowboys, I think, better than some people thought, moving the ball and in many ways having that short passing game similar to Bobby Hebert's and the Saints. Look at the 2 quarterbacks. They threw it just about an equal number of times. Well, not equal. They've completed about an equal number. Pelor really, if you look at it in that respect, having the better of the days. Hebert's team with the lead. What Steve has to do now is just forget the last 2 minutes of the first half and think about the rest of it.
Hebert's 1 interception, a deflection by Ed Jones. First down and 10, Pelor is back. Wide open, the big tight end Chandler. And Chandler pulls his way all to the 46-yard line. And Steve Pelor, you could not criticize anything he has done physically with the football tonight.
Now that time, Thornton Chandler filling in for Doug Cosby again, who's going to be out for a while with the Achilles problem. Chandler, a very simple route to the outside. Sam Mills, the inside linebacker, it was his responsibility. And Gene Atkins, number 28, coming in to make the tackle. He's got his hand actually underneath the face mask of Thornton Chandler. He had that hand all the way up over his nose.
First and 10, Dallas, 46-yard line of the Saints. Timmy Newsome, who carries it very seldom in the Dallas offensive scheme of things, gets inside the 45-yard line, give him 3. It'll be second down and 7. And Jim Erkenbach, the offensive line coach now for the Cowboys, who Up until last year, had spent 3 years here in New Orleans.
And even before that, he was Jim Mora's offensive line coach with the Stars over in the United States Football League. And you can bet that he's had a lot to say about the Dallas Cowboys game plan here, working against the Saints, both offensively and defensively. He knows their personnel very well.
2nd down and 7. The ball inside the 44-yard line of the Saints. We're just underway here in the second half. Flea flicker. Walker. Back to Pelluer. Trying to get it deep. Trying to get it to Kelvin Martin. It's incomplete.
And that's as good a coverage as you can get out of your secondary against the flea flicker. The ball is handed off, so everyone in the secondary, it's their instinct to charge the line of scrimmage and support the run. Walker takes it, sells it 50-50, and Pelluer throws it right into the teeth of the protection, right in the teeth of the coverage, and Van Jakes just played it beautifully. By his body positioning on the field, he knows there's no way to complete that ball. The only way it can be caught is if it's out of bounds by Kelvin Martin.
Pass down for Pelluer. 3rd down, 7. The ball at the 44-yard line of the Saints. Saints showing blitz, and they bring it. Gives you individual coverage, and Pelluer got the ball to Kelvin Martin. Good coverage out there by Reggie Sutton. They say is the best at man-for-man coverage on the Saints. He had to be man-for-man with the blitz, and he was there.
It's a beautifully thrown ball by Pelluer. He knows he's got to throw it into this protection. It was only his second receiver out, and look how perfectly he places the ball. You know, from that angle, it looks like Sutton has his hands all over Martin, but in reality, that wasn't interference. He didn't move Martin's body or cause him in any way to not be able to catch the football. That kind of defensive coverage is going to fly this year.
Mike Saxon hangs it up, looking for the coverage downfield. Doesn't get it. Touchback. So New Orleans, their first possession here in the second half will be from their 20-yard line. We'll be back at the Superdome in a moment. He goes, and of course that's Jim Finks on the left, the general manager and president. In the middle is Benson, of course, Mora.
And not to be confused with Ricky Nattiel, Vance Johnson, and Mark Jackson of the Denver Broncos. And this guy heads up as solid of an organization as there is in professional sports.
And he's been doing that for a long time. Very successful in the USFL, played in all 3 of their championships. 1st down and 10. New Orleans with the ball at the 20-yard line. Reuben Mays, left side, gets a couple. Out close to the 23-yard line to bring up 2nd down and 7. And Reuben Mays seeing more action than we anticipated tonight, because primarily the Saints have been going with Dalton Hilliard. Mays getting in a little bit of a hot water situation with his 10-day holdout right before the start of the season. Wanted a contract renegotiated. Jim Finks said no and absolutely no, and it has not been renegotiated. A 2-time Pro Bowler as a rookie, and then last year in his 2nd year.
And what a comeback he's made from knee surgery, major knee surgery. He's back to where the coaching staff says you would never know he was hurt.
2nd down, 7. Downs showing safety blitz. Mora reads it and throws the ball away. Lonzel Hill was deep downfield with Eric Martin.
And that's one of the few times that the Cowboys have shown the blitz and gone ahead and come with it and been successful. That's a pass that Bobby Hebert really had no chance at all to complete. And there's a look at Michael Irvin, who's still over on the sidelines trying to get that ankle good enough to play.
Diassi from the middle. If you're a Cowboy fan, you're wondering about Gene Lockhart. He was thrown out of the game at the beginning of the game. He is gone. Diassi playing in the middle, and there is Downs coming on the safety blitz. 3rd down, 7. New Orleans wants the timeout. Clock is not running, the 25-second clock, so we cannot determine why the timeout. That could be the reason. We'll be back. Important game for the Eagles, of course important for the Giants also, but the Eagles getting in trouble early on in the NFC Eastern Division. 25-second clock, as we mentioned to you, not showing here tonight. It's being kept in the field, and that could have been why Bobby Hebert was forced to use a timeout early here in the 3rd quarter. The Saints with the 3rd down and 7, the ball at their 24-yard line. Steps back into the pocket, fires to Perriman incomplete. Ron Francis, a little rusty at the beginning of tonight, was beaten a couple of times, once for a touchdown, that time with good coverage on Perriman.
Still, when you look at that, that's a ball that, by all appearances, Perriman should have had. Well executed by the Saints. Good throw by Hebert, and you do give credit to the coverage to Francis, but that should have been a first down Saints if Perriman holds on to the ball.
There's Kelvin Martin. He's back for the Brian Hansen punt. Cowboys should get good field position out of this. Hansen, poor kick, end over end. Martin steps out of bounds at the 44-yard line, and the Dallas Cowboys offense comes onto the field. And a good friend of all of ours, back in the saddle, so to speak, a former head coach of these New Orleans Saints. There he is, Hank Stram. He had heart surgery, Dan, 3 weeks ago. And there's Jack Buck, another great pal of ours with CBS Radio.
Hank had a valve replaced in his heart 3 weeks tomorrow. So it's really less than 3 weeks for Hank Stram, who's a resident here in New Orleans, back to work already.
How did he get that tan so quickly?
Wow, that guy, he couldn't lose his tan if he didn't see the sun for 2 months.
We're delighted for Hank Stram. He's a great friend of all of ours. Dallas now trailing 14-7. Early on here in the third quarter, 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line. Steve Pelor.
He just needs to be conservative and patient.
And work this man, Herschel Walker, to the 47-yard line. Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7.
Here is a look at the New Orleans advanced technology. They have a little booth high in the end zone where they take Polaroids of the formations used by their opponents down on the field, and then, marvel of marvels, they slide it on down that wire to their coaches on the sidelines. Next thing you know, they'll be talking with 2 Campbell's soup cans with a string in between.
Hasn't advanced much. We used to throw it down in a weighted sock. And that is Michael Downs on the sideline as the Cowboys look over a 2nd down and 7 and give it to Herschel Walker again. Walker looking for the first down marker. He gets it inside the 46-yard line, all on his own, just power and strength.
And Van Jakes got taken for a ride by Herschel Walker, and you just can't handle this guy high. And something tells me Van Jakes may spend a few minutes after practice this week working on the tackling dummy with one of the assistant coaches. That's not the way to do it.
Did you see him change the ball into the left hand? Herschel Walker, he does so many things so well, and he is the Cowboys Travelers Man of the Year. Of course, the Travelers Man of the Year in the NFL will be announced at the Super Bowl. It means more than just playing football, and here he is again. This time looking, pecking along that line, finally getting to the outside, turning it up for big yardage. And what kind of blows you away if you've ever carried a football is the way he does it so easily. He got 9 yards out of that, and it looked like any other back making 3 or 4.
Well, it's
strength,
very
power, and speed.
It's rare you see that combination in this era of football players getting bigger and faster. Herschel Walker still, I think, a generation ahead of where running backs may one day be, maybe 20 years from now. Bo Jackson, another guy that comes to mind with that same combination.
This is the Herschel Walker drive, and he gets another first down. Stepping out of bounds, he is inside the 32-yard line. Reminiscent of a drive we saw against the Phoenix Cardinals when they had to get that score in the third quarter. They came out, they gave it to Herschel Walker time after time after time, ultimately getting the touchdown out of it.
Well, when you've got a guy like this that you know, like all the great backs, gets stronger as the game goes on. He's got the size and the bulk to take that pounding, and he's a guy that's vocal about it. Give it to me 30 times a ball game. I'll win you the game. And I think Tom Landry has fallen into that mode. Take some of the burden off of Pelor, letting Walker carry the ball.
Inside the 32 of the Saints. 1st and 10 Dallas. And it could be that time had expired. Flags are everywhere.
Well, except the field judge who keeps that time, doesn't throw it.
False start, 66 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Kevin Gogan at right tackle, and without the clock running, it's kind of hard to estimate what exactly it is. It was Kevin Gogan moving early.
This is Kevin Gogan, the right tackle. I think we're going to see him take a little move. Watch his hand. Well, he only beat it by about a second. Well, if you're going to do it, do it. Why split hairs? I think that's the case. Gogan thought it was on 2 when it was on 3.
Saints leading 14-7. 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. First down, 15, the Dallas Cowboys. 37-yard line of the Saints. Pelluer, good scrambler. And Pelluer pounded at the 27, sprawls to the 26, hit there by Vaughn Johnson, short of a first down.
And those are some of the things, though, that we talked earlier about the things that Steve Pelluer does so well. And we saw two things there. One is athletic abilities in being able to read the fact that he can get out and make some yardage. But his competitive nature came out there because you didn't see the hook slide. You know the quarterback has protection if he wants to give it the feet first slide. No, he dug it out, lowered his shoulder, and went forward for a couple extra yards because his team needed him.
2nd and 5. Walker hit at the line of scrimmage, tried to squeeze back inside. Gang tackling once again by the Saints, headed by Sam Mills and Ricky Jackson. Tough to run over that left side against Jackson. And this man, Mills, at 5'9", 225-pounder, maybe the ideal man to have tackling. Well, Herschel Walker, because he starts low.
Yeah, at that size, although you have to say that Sam Mills gets a lot of help from this guy, Ricky Jackson. They play the same side. And Ricky Jackson, who played with Hugh Green at Pitt and actually led the Pitt Panthers in tackles even when Hugh Green was a member of that college team. One of the most dominating players in the NFL who hasn't received a lot of pub because most of his years have been on losing clubs.
3rd down 4, blitz is on. And out of the backfield is Timmy Newsome, breaks the tackle, and he has first down yardage inside the 15. Pelluer reading it once again. He had Jackson right in his face. He knew where Newsome was going to be, and Pelluer is putting on quite a show tonight. Jackson, top of your screen. He'll get right into Pelluer's face on the blitz.
Well, he's not even blocked. You see Newsome lets him go. That's a read all the way between quarterback and running back. Ricky Jackson untouched, and that makes Timmy Newsome what they call the hot receiver. And Steve Pelluer knows he's going to be uncovered. He did his job and got Newsome the ball. This is a smart play by a quarterback. You know you're going to get hit, but your back makes the right adjustment. You get rid of the ball. Hey, you take a shot, but you did the right thing, Steve.
First down and 10. Cowboys inside the 15-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. They trail by 7 midway in the third quarter. Pelluer fires a shot into the end zone. It's complete. Kelvin Martin, his 2nd touchdown of the night, and Pelluer again right on target.
I think this is clearly the best ball game that Steve Pelluer has ever played. Just a quick slant-in pattern by Martin, and New Orleans a little befuddled by some of the pass routes being run. But watch Kelvin Martin. He's going to make his break. It's not really a sharp break to the inside, and Reggie Sutton just a little mystified to Martin making that inside move, and that's not even a great pattern. You like to see a plant and a sharp break. He rounded that off and still wide open for the touchdown.
12 of 19, a couple of touchdowns for Steve Pelluer, 174 yards. Certainly off on what could be his biggest night. Rusing ties the game at 7:40 remaining in the third quarter. We're tied at 14, and there is Kelvin Martin. He's only 5'9". Good timing, good athleticism. The Cowboys have tied the Saints. We'll be right back. Tom Landry continuing to nurse on his quarterback of tomorrow, Steve Pelluer, who might be his quarterback now of today. Has grown up. Maybe the fourth quarter of the Atlanta game last week when he led the Cowboys on a must-do drive, finally winding up with a winning 29-yard touchdown. Has turned things around for Steve Pelluer. He's been brilliant tonight. Maybe a couple of mental errors, but physically, you could not ask more. Roger Rusing. Poor kick that will be taken by Mel Gray. And it works, however, for the Cowboys as Gray goes down at the 17-yard line. Good football game. Hope you're enjoying a lot of the line for both these ball clubs.
Really, if you look at the way the two teams have moved the ball, Frank, it's really their own mistakes more often than not that have stopped these two offensive teams. Hebert has been sharp. Pelluer is sharper than we've ever seen him play. And right now, I think the onus is on the shoulders of Bobby Hebert and the Saints offense. They don't even have the ball out to their 20-yard line. This is not the time to do 3 downs and out. Even if they don't get points, they need a couple first downs.
The rest of the team is all here, all 68,474, the official count. First and 10 New Orleans from their own 17-yard line. Hebert, all the time he could want.
There's the flag.
Bates was there early, and the flag is drawn. Hilliard, intended receiver.
You can't go through the receiver to get to the football, and Billy Bates clearly came in over the top.
Interference, number 40 defense. First down.
Nobody ever will accuse this guy of not making a quick play to the football. And Billy Bates, if we can go ahead and roll this thing, watch him come in. He's at the safety position right there at the top of your screen. He bites a little bit on the outside, but then in he comes, and clearly you can see that he's there a good half beat before the football.
Every time the Saints can get him isolated, they are going to go against Bates. First down following the penalty assessment. Hilliard works the inside for a couple, give him 3 to bring up second down and 7.
Where's Ironhead Hayward? And we thought that this guy was going to get a lot of playing tonight, and Craig Hayward, their #1 draft choice, who's been a good-sized part of the Saints offense up to game number 5 here, really hasn't seen a lot of playing time, and even when he's been in, he hasn't handled the ball a lot. Here he comes out on a second down situation.
Cowboys love to blitz on this type of situation. Second down, what they consider long to be 6, 7 yards. Of course, the Saints read that right along with them. They know the frequencies. They throw it underneath, and they get the ball to Tice. Filling in for the injured Hobie Brenner. Both teams tonight have been without their starting tight ends. We've told you about Doug Cosby of the Cowboys. And Hobie Brenner is out for the Saints, and that completion was to Tice, short of the first down, as Danny White and Pallure on the bench. They talk back and forth, and there, of course, Ernie Stautner, the defensive coordinator. Former great player with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll get into a game for you.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm glad that I wasn't of an age to have to play against Ernie Stautner. Reputation as one of the toughest defensive linemen in the history of the game.
Third down and 1.
Mean. He was mean.
Hill is open for first down yardage. Downs was as close as he could be expected to be in that defense, or rather Everson Walls. And he makes the stop, but the first down is picked up by Lonzell Hill.
Well, the Cowboys in man coverage all the way, and it's Everson Wall's responsibility to chase Lonzell Hill all the way across the formation. And that is a pass and a route that, if they're run properly and thrown well, Everson Walls doesn't have a prayer. The guy doesn't have a chance of defending against that. It's a quick out pattern, and Hill has the angle. He has everything in his favor. And Everson Walls just too late. Really can't blame him for that.
On first down, play action. Hebert comes up, gets the ball to Tice. And the big tight end all the way to the 20-yard line. Little play action. Held the linebackers for just a moment. Tice was able to clear it underneath. Open field for Tice. They were trying to cover him with the linebacker. Difficult assignment indeed.
And you talk about wide open. Working against the Cowboys zone. Hebert has to improvise a little bit, moving his way out of the pocket, but John Tice, who came all the way across the formation, someone in the zone coverage had no clue what was going on. Not a study in speed as he takes off down the sidelines. I think Jim Burt might have caught him from behind. John Tice in there more for his blocking skills than his receiving, but what a thrill it must be for him to get in on a big play like that.
Tied at 14, 4:50 in the clock moving in the third quarter. First down and 10, the Saints near the Cowboys' 20-yard line. And Ed Jones confronts Hebert once again.
Well, that's the all-out Cowboy blitz. That's an all-or-nothing defense for Dallas. They call it their 4-0, where they line up and bring everybody, and you either get that, you make the offensive team look real bad, but at the same time, you're locking up your defensive guys in one-on-one coverage. See Michael Downs coming in there.
Third deflection of the night for the 6'9", too tall Jones.
And he was trying to jump up with one of the Saints having a handful of jersey. Tough enough trying to get up after 14 years in this league without somebody with their hand on your shirt, pulling you back down.
Second down and 10. Hebert. Quick slant, and he fires it to Eric Martin. In front of Francis. He's close to another first down. May have it.
Another quick slant pattern. Watch Eric Martin just go 2 or 3 yards and break. That's all timing. You really rely on that quarterback to put the ball within the framework of your body. Don't hang me up. Don't make me stretch out. You saw Hebert put it right on the numbers for Eric Martin.
Flag came late. Illegal use of hands at the line of scrimmage. Penalty declined. It'll be a first down, the Saints.
That pattern is extremely simple for the receiver to run, extremely complicated for the quarterback to throw. That's the pattern that takes hundreds of repetitions between quarterback and receiver, even though it looks simple. But the ball has to be in the body, and Hebert couldn't have thrown it any better.
It's the New Orleans offense. They play high percentage football. They usually are way ahead of the opposition in time of possession. One of the reasons they do work on that a great deal. But everything is high percentage. They don't get a lot of big plays. They get a lot of little ones, and they keep the football. It's first down, goal to go. A quick slant intended for Lonzel Hill. Overthrown. Everson Walls, good position, but nevertheless one that could have been completed.
Well, Lonzel gets up. He wants the flag. He was a little incensed. He thought that Everson Walls was all over him.
And always the threat of too tall Jones. You saw that hand go up high once again.
Everson Walls that time, deservedly no flag. He was right there with the coverage. How close does too tall get? Only about 2 or 3 inches it looked like. He was right on line. The ball was just a little bit over his hands.
Second down, goal to go.
That guy's scared, just plain scared.
Another deflection. That could have been Noonan, and a Cowboy is down.
The Cowboy defensive line just playing volleyball with these passes. Steve Diassi, the Dallas Cowboy, who was down on the field, but he's back up. Let's see who got the ball. There is Danny Noonan, and we're going to credit that tip, I believe, to Diassi. You see Steve go up in the air. Oh, yeah, hits him on the shoulder pad.
Diassi comes out. He is all right. The Cowboys bring in their 4-0 defense. Third down, goal to go.
Well, he came down and landed on his head, and for a linebacker, that's the best area to not have a serious injury.
Timing pattern and intended for Eric Martin. He was held up by Robert Williams, who is in there on the nickel. There is no flag, but Eric Martin had a legitimate beef on that one.
And Bobby Hebert went all the way down into the end zone to argue that call. There's Manny Hendricks in the corner, and there is Williams. And look at Martin turn around and actually try to swat Williams' arm off of his back.
Morton Anderson comes on to attempt to untie this game. It'll be a 27-yard attempt. He just doesn't miss these. The all-time leading field goal kicker in the NFL in terms of accuracy, with nearly an 80% accuracy ratio. We'll be back in New Orleans in a moment. Settle for a 3-point Morton Anderson field goal. They go behind the Saints, 17-14, 3:45 remaining here in the third quarter. Anderson. Short kick for Anderson. Taken by Kelvin Martin. And Martin struggles to the 23-yard line. Tomorrow night, baseball playoffs begin. You'll see it right here on ABC. The Mets and the Dodgers, coast to coast. A lot of series shaping up. Wishheiser and Gooden. And then a week from tonight, we'll be in Philadelphia. The Giants and the Eagles. Giants coming off their win yesterday. Philadelphia Losing Mike Quick in their win over Houston. That'll make quite a difference in their offense, but they have one of the most versatile quarterbacks you're going to see, and we haven't seen that much of Randall Cunningham on national television, so check in with us a week from tonight. We'll be in Philadelphia for the Giants and the Eagles. First and 10 Dallas. Pelluer is back. And Pelluer works his tight end, Thornton Chandler, for good yardage out to the 29-yard line.
Nobody can ever accuse Tom Landry of not having confidence in Steve Pelluer. This is a critical drive. The Saints have just scored. The crowd was really into it, and rather than just feeding it off to Herschel a couple of times and maybe not getting the first down, he lets Steve have his way and open right up with a play-action pass. I don't care how old Tom Landry is. His mind is still one of the best offensive minds in the game of football.
Indeed. What was it that we heard today? The great minds in this game offensively. That coming from the Saints coaching staff. Second down and 4. Walker works the middle. Maybe a yard. It'll be third down and 3. Sam Mills in there first for the Saints, as he quite frequently is on that strong side.
It's just so hard to block this guy. I mean, we talk about what an advantage he might have being low to the ground and tackling a ball carrier. That being low to the ground also works when you've got a 6'5" or 6'6" guard or tackle coming out to try to block him. You know, blocking is leverage. How do you get underneath Sam Mills to block him? Critical down here for the Cowboys, 3rd and 3.
Timmy Newsome gets into a wing position over on the right, top of your screen. All indications is the Cowboys will put it in the air. Pelluer scrambles. And Pelluer gets the 3 yards, and he could have gone out of bounds, maybe picking up the first down. He did not take a chance. He put the head down and gets the first down out over the 35-yard line. Tough kid.
That's the second time he's done it, trying to get extra yardage. We've got a Saint down on the field. We'll find out after this replay. But again, it was Tom Landry who tells us the most mobile quarterback he's ever had is Steve Pelluer, and you can't question his toughness. He's a team player. When he needs a first down, he's going to go after it.
Reggie Sutton is the injured New Orleans Saint, the left cornerback, who had earned his way into a starting position with the Saints a couple of weeks ago, replacing a veteran Dave Waymer. And it was this morning that we were talking to defensive coordinator Steve Sidwell, who told us he perhaps was the best man-for-man defender they have. And he does appear to be all right.
Well, he was in on the play trying to make the tackle on Steve Pelluer. Now the good news for the Saints is Dave Waymer will be the guy that comes in. Let's see if we can find Reggie Sutton. You can see him right on the leg of Steve Pelluer, and it looks like he hit his head or
caught the knee
got his
right
bell
on the
rung. Yep, and that's a very common occurrence. And good news, Reggie Sutton is up and walking off under his own power. So.
And Dave Waymer, Notre Dame veteran who had been starting in this position for the past couple of years, is now into the lineup. So you're not getting anything terribly new there, but it could be a spot where Tom Landry might consider exploiting. Steve Pelluer off on a big game thus far, and we have 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter with the clock moving. He's done it all tonight. Everything you could ask. Walker with a good block from Newsome. And Walker uses the block by Newsome to get to midfield. Another first down. Nate Newton also out in front of that.
Now, Nate Newton weighs 320 pounds. And it's not often you're going to see a 320-pound guard get out in front of a play and show some of the agility that this guy did on that last play. It was really his block. Watch him here on the left side. He's going to pull out in front and pick up, who is that? That's Vaughn Johnson, the inside linebacker, and he runs him clear out of the play. He runs Johnson a good 5 yards, and Walker wisely cuts him behind the big man. And that 314, that's without a couple meals.
Walker, he's over 100 yards rushing tonight. Breaks a tackle, and there will be 10 more. And close to another first down.
You know, it has to be fun to be a blocker for the Dallas Cowboys, because I think the key phrase for these guys would be never leave your feet. If you can just keep running with the defender no matter where he goes, the guy behind you is such an instinctive runner that he's always going to make the right decision. And at Walker, I think maybe that's one of his strongest attributes, is making the right decision, whether to cut inside or cut outside. And here he is, over 100 yards again. And that's in 5 games, folks, so he's averaging over 100 a day, and there's a lot of time left in this one.
He's not bad when he makes the wrong decision.
Yeah, you're right. His wrong decisions are better than some people's right decisions.
First down, Dallas. They've quieted the capacity crowd here in the Kingdom. 1:44 remaining in the third quarter. The Saints on top, 17-14. Keeping them honest, Timmy Newsome bangs into the middle and gets inside the 36-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Timmy Newsome, good running back in his own right. Big man, 6'1", 234-pounder, good speed, good receiver. Really just has to subordinate a lot of talent to the extraordinary skills of one Herschel Walker.
You know, we are seeing one good offensive drive after another here in the second half. The Saints had a solid scoring drive, and now the Cowboys an equally impressive drive.
Second and long. Nothing doing downfield. You check off the Herschel Walker. Good open field tackle by Waymer. Trips up Walker, who gets a yard and a half out of that play.
I don't know what else they can ask Herschel to do, but he's in on just about every play the Cowboys are making on this drive. Danny White wears that blue jacket on the sidelines to cover up his white jersey, because his hands show up a lot better against that dark background, aiding Steve Pellure in being able to see the signals out from a good 25 or 30 yards away. It's not cold in here.
Cowboys send a quick substitution, a rather late substitution off the field. It's third down and 6. Pellure again, ever so sharp to Alexander, working against a Waymer, and one would suspect that that would be where Tom would like to go. New man on the field, Dave Waymer, replacing an injured Reggie Sutton. They test him on the 3rd and 5, and they get the completion to Alexander. Another Cowboy first down as Dallas keeps it alive. They're deep in New Orleans territory. We begin the fourth quarter. The Dallas Cowboys have a drive going. First down at 10. New Orleans Saints 23-yard line. Steve Pellure, the hot quarterback tonight. Underneath the Walker. And Walker to the 16-yard line. His forward progress. They'll mark it close to the 16, and numbers pretty even here in the second half.
Well, consider that early in the ball game, those numbers were pretty lopsided in favor of the New Orleans Saints, and look how the Cowboys have even narrowed the margin on the time of possession, but almost, what is it, about an 80-yard advantage in total offense, and Pellure 15 of 22. That's a 70% completion rate, and this is by far and away the sharpest that I've ever seen Steve Pellure.
10th play of this drive, second down and 4. Walker, the workhorse. Get at the line of scrimmage. Squeaks maybe a half a yard out of it. It'll be third down and about 3, as Frank Warren was in there defensively. Started tonight in place of James Geathers at left end.
The last time Dallas needed to convert on a third down, they went at Dave Waymer. Now, when we changed ends of the field, Reggie Sutton came back in the ball game, and Waymer came out. Now, I wonder if the Dallas Cowboys want to test Reggie Sutton to see if he's all the way back.
And they are also not above going with a draw play either.
Oh, they've run reverses down here.
Pellure, did he get it in there? Yeah, they're saying yes, he'll have the first down. Kelvin Martin, another key catch for the Cowboys tonight. And already had a couple of touchdowns, and he works right in front of Waymer.
And an all-out blitz that time by the Saints. And Kelvin Martin, again, reading the blitz, breaks off his route and just curls up to the inside. And it was right at Reggie Sutton. There at the top of the screen. Kelvin Martin will just make his break to the inside. Pallure stands in the blitz. And really, it's good coverage that time by Reggie Sutton. You really can't fault him. When you blitz and don't get to the quarterback, you run the risk of suffering that completion.
Pallure, again, another fine play. On first down, Pallure misses the handoff, and Brian Ford is there defensively. And Tom Landry, who has seen it all this year with his young quarterback. We keep calling him young. He's been around for 5 years, but young and experienced. He's been given the job a couple of times in the past, and this time it looks as though Tom is going to stay with him no matter what. And it looked as though tonight all of that was paying off. And then you miss a handoff.
Tom's going, I know this was too good to be true.
Second down. Pallure.
Intercepted.
Picked off by the deflection. Van Jakes picks it off.
And that ball just bounced off Thornton Chandler, the intended receiver.
Atkins defensively there was with Chandler, but it went high into the air and picked off by Van Jakes in the end zone.
A briskly thrown ball that time by Steve Pallure. Ends up being the old tip drill. All defensive backs work on it, and this time that work paid off for New Orleans.
Ride with the wind.
Boy, turnovers. The New Orleans Saints leading 17-14. We're in the fourth period. 12-13 remaining. Van Jakes with the Saints interception in the end zone off a deflected pass. Gene Atkins covering the Cowboys tight end Thornton Chandler. Reuben Mays. Right side and into the arms of Kevin Brooks. Let's go back a moment ago. The Cowboys threatening. They most certainly wanted to be conservative. The intended pass to Thornton Chandler, you make up your own mind. Was it deflected by Atkins or was that Chandler knocking it into the air? But in any event, it was picked off by Van Jakes.
In any event, it was superb coverage by Gene Atkins. Whether or not the ball came off of Chandler's hands or whether Atkins hit it and knocked it over to his partner Van Jakes, either way, it was the coverage of Gene Atkins that caused that interception.
Second down, 7. Hebert. Lots of time. Fires and it's complete. It goes to Eric Martin. First down yardage. Everson Walls was there defensively, but Martin gets the first down out to the 33-yard line.
We are seeing more receivers working the middle of the field tonight than we've seen in a long time. And it's not mostly backs coming out of the backfield. It's the wide receivers running crossing patterns, quick slants, but going towards the middle of the field. And I think we're looking at two teams that have receivers that aren't afraid to go into the middle where they know they're going to take that shot after they catch it.
Well, that's where the good stuff is. If you have the players who will go in and go for it. First and 10. Reuben Mays. Flag is down as Mays powers his way over the 35-yard line to the 37. Bill Bates was there defensively, and
that'll be holding for sure.
Hilgenberg was working against Ed Too Tall Jones. And so many times Jones will
Holding,
call.
61 offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It is Hilgenberg, and he is working against Jones, and what else are you going to do against this man?
Well, really, I find fault with the blocking scheme. You're asking Joel Hilgenberg, who's lined up at guard, to come out a full man and try to block a defensive end on a sweep that's supposed to go outside Too Tall Jones. I mean, you're asking the impossible of the right guard on that play. Granted, he did hold him, but I don't know how else you're going to do it. That's a tough position to be put in.
First down, 20. Here comes the blitz. Hilliard hit at the line of scrimmage, gets over the 25. close to the 26, where it'll be second down and 18.
Kevin Brooks, who's been playing very solidly in the middle tonight for Dallas. Question mark as to how much he was going to be able to contribute tonight because of the bad knee. He's been in on a lot of plays. As Frank mentioned earlier, a #1 draft choice from Michigan, and he's been solid tonight, playing a little nicked.
Second down 18. Cowboys ordinarily would like to blitz in this situation. Saints they know about that. Bobby Hebert knows about that.
Here comes Downs, and Bates is up there too.
Hebert using a lot of time, and he didn't get it off. No, the Cowboys just literally talked Hebert out of that.
Well, Bill Bates did everything but throw the flag.
Delay of game, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
The problem, if you're Bobby Hebert, and we reiterate this, is that the clock isn't working. The 45-second clock is non-functional here today. But watch Bill Bates up here. Bill Bates is towards the top of your screen. He's going, hey, how much time are you going to give this guy? Hey, we're up here, and this guy's reading a novel. Let's see if we can get a flag.
Second down now and 23, and that's the clock they don't see.
That's a problem if you're the quarterback.
Cowboys showing the blitz again. In all probability, they'll pop out of it, and they do. Hebert gets the completion to Robert Clark. Another big play for Clark tonight on his second reception. Short of the first down, but he was isolated on Ron Francis, and he did a good job on him, and Hebert had it right on the money.
There was a lot of pressure up the middle that time. Too Tall Jones was right in this guy's face, and Bobby Hebert somehow completes it. Let's take a look at it on the sidelines. There's the catch, and Clark out of bounds, just about a yard short of the first down. And that's Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator of the Saints. He's not happy with the spot. I think he thought it was a first down.
Hilliard, and I don't know. I don't think he broke the plane.
Well, he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Diassi and Everson Walls went up with him, and that's how you have to play short yardage. You know he's going to try to go over the top, and they went over the top with him, and they met short of the line of scrimmage, I do believe.
Oh, I don't think there's any way Frankie made it back to the line of scrimmage.
And on a fourth down, the Saints are not going to complain. They're not going to call for the measurement. They send out the punter. Good effort by Dallas.
Ironhead went to the inside as the lead blocker, and for some reason Hilliard, rather than follow his lead blocker, broke it about 2 holes farther to the outside and got stuffed.
For some reason Hilliard had the ball instead of Ironhead.
Well, he should have followed Ironhead. I'd follow a 250-pound fullback when I needed 6 inches.
I certainly might be tempted to give him the football. Hansen to punt. Kelvin Martin is back for Dallas. Martin, a fair catch, and executes at the 18-yard line. Dallas will get the football back with 8:04 remaining from here in New Orleans. The Saints leading by 3. Anyone we know?
Pretty. And if you're the Saints, this is not a nightmare on Elm Street right now. They've got a 3-point lead, and the Cowboys inside their own 20-yard line.
8:04 remaining in the game, and both teams executing well tonight. Long drives, good performances by both quarterbacks. Steve Pellure, perhaps his finest showing certainly this year. Young man is growing up, and here he is looking over first down and 10. Cowboys at their own 19-yard line. Herschel Walker slips as he tries to reverse his field. We've seen him do it so many times. This time he goes down.
Yeah, just when we talked about always making the right decision, that time Herschel didn't like what he saw inside and then thought maybe he'd duck to the outside. And is he a little, well, he looked a little sore when he got up, and he's going back to the huddle. He was going to test it to the outside, and an effective job by the Saints of closing it off. They got upfield and took that outside cutaway from him right there.
Tough thing to do, even for Herschel Walker. You see the great ones do it all the time. You'll see Eric Dickerson try it. They have that great speed, and they know if they can get around that offside, they can get big yardage. 3-yard loss, second down 13. Flag is down as Pallure goes upfield to Kelvin Martin. And a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Martin makes the catch, but it looks like this is going to go against Dallas.
Illegal motion. Number 89 went in motion before the other man set. 2 men moving at the same time. 5 yards penalty, still second down.
Called against Thornton Chandler. Pair of Cowboys moving. Chandler, of course, filling in for an injured Duck Cosby that the Cowboys are quite frankly concerned about. There's an Achilles tendon injury, and they're not quite sure whether or not Duck Cosby might even have to have surgery.
That's one of the problems of a multiple move offense. The Dallas Cowboys, the first team in the league to do it a lot, but when you have guys moving that much, that sometimes happens.
On second and long, Pallure back near his end zone. Pallure out of the end zone and up close to a first down. He'll get it out of the 30-yard line. 3 times tonight, key situations. This young man, Steve Pallure, has risen to the occasion, pulled the ball down, and there was no question he was going to go all the way and go for the first down.
Well, none of those instances were more key than that one. And you really have to wonder, I said at the top of the show, what a test this will be to the maturity of Steve Pallure and how far he's come. Would this maybe not have been a situation where he might have thrown it right there? Instead, bring it down and rely on some of the skills that you were blessed with. Great speed and good running instincts. And what a first down conversion that time by Steve Pallure.
On first down. Pallure fires a shot. In and out of the hands of Ray Alexander. It was low, but it could have been caught. Van Jakes covering the former CFL star.
With the kind of coverage that Jakes had on Alexander, Pallure really doesn't have a choice but to throw it low. It's really the perfect place to throw it, because look how Jakes has got the backside covered. That ball right on the numbers, and Ray Alexander just has to bring that one in. That's the point in the ball game here. 5.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Big-time receivers have to make those kind of plays.
He made them last week, 3 of them on a final drive for the Cowboys that ultimately wound up with Alexander scoring for 29 yards out to beat Atlanta. And Pallure, I believe, again, running out of time. We don't really know because the clock is not running, but Pallure knows how much time there was. He avoids the penalty, calls timeout, and we'll be back in a moment. That man on the fedora, but the man behind him is David Keith. Tom Actor, who has fallen in love with these Cowboys, carries Tom's phone lines.
The 2 quarterbacks, Kevin Sweeney, Danny White on the left, and their 4th quarterback, number 10 on the right, Scott Seekules. The Cowboys, the only team in the league with 4 active QBs.
Second and 10, Pallure under heavy pressure gets the ball off, and we could have a call going against Mills.
Well, we've got another flag downfield. And that's almost certainly going to go against Sam Mills.
Holding 51 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and a first down.
Thornton Chandler, the tight end. Mills was trying to provide the coverage, and Pallure, under tremendous duress, gets the ball off.
But you could see that when the ball got to Chandler, Mills already was all over him and was already starting to drive Chandler towards the ground. That was one of those calls that there's really no argument. The crowd booed a little bit, but good call that time by the officials. Mills all over Chandler.
Second down, long yardage.
No, it's a first down.
First down following the assessment of the penalty. Pallure pulls it down again. Looks for first down yardage, hops over the marker and gets the first down.
Oh, now
4 times tonight.
You talk about raw athletic ability. How did Steve Pallure keep from going out of bounds about 2 yards short of the first down marker? Now, his type of running maybe doesn't lend itself to a long, fruitful career in the NFL, but it sure does win you ball games.
I'll tell you, he's tough, though. In 1986, when he filled in for the injured Danny White, he was sacked 47 times in 9 games.
Well, watch this move right here, Frank. Watch right there. How does he keep from going out of bounds? He stays in and gets the first down, knowing that he's exposing his ribs to that shot from the inside.
Cowboys down by 3. Pallure keeps it alive. First and 10 inside their own 47-yard line. Herschel Walker breaks one tackle, gets to midfield. Tony Elliott slides off from the nose tackle spot to make the stop for New Orleans. Right now we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our stations all along the line to let you know who's bringing you the game.
This is WVUE Channel 8, New Orleans.
Back at the Superdome, good football game. The Dallas Cowboys, New Orleans Saints. Cowboys need a win tonight to stay with the Giants and Phoenix in the NFC Eastern Division. The New Orleans Saints likewise to stay with San Francisco and the Rams in the NFC Western Division. Second down, 7. Cowboys at midfield. Plure again, and again he goes out to Kelvin Martin and lost. Perhaps in the fine showing of Plure tonight is an excellent showing by this young man from Boston College in his second year, Kelvin Martin. Only 5'9", 160-pounder. Had a great training camp this year. Tom Landry was so high on him in training camp, and then he was injured and out of the lineup for a while, but he has come back and made some key catches tonight. 5 receptions, 54 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
I'll tell you who else is playing well, and that's the Cowboy offensive line. The Saints had 10 sacks in their last 2 games. So far tonight, they only have 1 sack for 1 yard and losses.
Walker gets a couple. It was Jakes coming up from the cornerback's position. Forced Walker out of bounds.
Well, the Saints defensively, I believe, have figured out Herschel Walker in the I formation on first down. Herschel is less than effective now. Remember, it was a long time ago that he had 116 yards. His last 4 or 5 carries have not gotten a whole lot. Ricky Jackson trying to get this Superdome crowd on its feet. Give us a hand.
Second down, long yardage. Plure. And it's Martin who's open once again. And again, Kelvin Martin with his 6th reception of the evening.
Look at the cushion Reggie Sutton giving Kelvin Martin when Martin makes just really a simple turn to the inside. Reggie Sutton is 5 yards back and really quite lucky to get up and get an ankle on Martin, or that play is even going to be bigger than it was. Ticking towards the 4-minute mark left in this ball game. The Cowboys, another solid drive.
Inside the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Walker inside the 20, hammering his way.
I think Tom Landry figured out that the I formation isn't being as effective. That time the Cowboys get out of it, go to a more conventional 2-back set.
Dallas at this point, they have it all working both on the ground and in the air, and then you love to call plays when that's going on. Your defense starts to think we've got to come with the pass rush because of the passing game, and that's when you can run the football, and particularly when you have a Herschel Walker. He is tough at any time and in any place, but really tough when he gets inside the 20. Good defensive play on Walker. It was Frank Warren on the stop.
This is where Steve Plure will really show us how far he's come. We're going to have a 3rd down situation in scoring territory in the closing minutes of a football game. This is where Steve Plure earlier this season has made some tragic mistakes if you're a Cowboy fan. Tonight, it's tough to find fault with any of his movements, his decisions. This is a place, if you don't have anything, don't throw it up for grabs.
3rd down, 7. Don't kill yourself. You're well within field goal range to tie this up.
And this entire stadium is on its feet, and he's not going to run a play. Now, the first thing the referee does in this situation is he suspends the 45-second clock. It's no longer a factor. If he feels that the crowd is making too much noise, the quarterback has all the time in the world to get off a play.
Steve Plure walked out to his wide receiver, Everett Gay, told him what he planned to do, I do believe.
Well, now here's another thing to keep in mind. The Cowboys this week to practice noise went into the room used by their cheerleaders at their Cowboy training facility, turned the stereo all the way up, and had Pallure practice calling signals to his wide receivers. Let's see if it pays off.
3rd and 7. Looking for it all in the end zone. Intended for Edwards. Fine defensive play. Milton Mack in front of Edwards. Pallure actually took quite a chance with that football. The one thing he did not want to do is lose the possible field goal.
And that ball thrown back to the inside. That was just excellent coverage that time. Milton Mack, the defensive back with the coverage on Kelvin Edwards, played it beautifully.
From 39 yards out, Ruzic. Pallure is the holder. Ruzic hits the crossbar.
He hits the upright and it bounces back.
Ruzic, who reported late, was on the ineligible list for 2 weeks, came back 2 weeks ago. Coming into tonight, he had missed at 28 and at 43 yards. He had made field goals at 41 and 24, and he has just now missed a tying field goal with 2:24 remaining in the game from 39 yards. Let's look again.
The snap was good, the hold was good, but as lots of soccer kickers do, sometimes they're prone to hook it to the left, and he just nails that upright up near the top. And the pressure is on to perform when you're one of the higher paid kickers in the league, and Ruzic that time, boy, the margin between victory and defeat sometimes is very, very small. This game's not over yet, but hitting the upright. I've seen more footballs hit uprights this year in the first 5 games of the NFL season than I think I saw all last year.
The Saints' job now to start working on that clock. Hilliard to the 23-yard line. Gain of maybe 2.
Keep in mind, Steve Pallure had to use a timeout earlier here in the second half, so the Cowboys only have 2, and they just used 1 right now, so they'll be down to 1 timeout the next time the Saints snap the ball.
And of course, one to stop it before it was stopped automatically, as it would be at the 2-minute warning, and the Saints could have just had a cheap 15 seconds off the clock. So you weigh the value of using one of your 2 timeouts against the loss of 15 seconds, and the Cowboys have made the decision. Good football game. Hope you're enjoying. The New Orleans Saints, we talked about it earlier, looking down the line, they have one of the tougher schedules you could imagine. Next Sunday they'll be at San Diego. The following week they're also on the West Coast at Seattle. Then it really gets interesting for them. The Raiders, the Rams, Washington, the Rams again, Denver, the Giants, Minnesota, San Francisco, and Atlanta. That's what happens when you finish 12-3.
That's one of the more unbelievable stretches on a team schedule that I've seen, Frank. I mean, it's tough. That's just brutal.
Dallas hasn't any easy shakes. This Sunday they play Washington, Dallas. Then they have Chicago, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Giants, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Houston, Cleveland, Washington, Philadelphia. That's for Dallas.
Well, they can't allow the Saints a first down. It's that simple.
2nd and 8. Hilliard. Bill Bates.
And Dallas, it appears, is going to use their last timeout, and they are before the 2-minute warning. So if the Saints don't convert, if they don't pick up the first down, they'll be forced to punt the ball away, and Dallas will get it, but with no timeouts.
Jim Mora, a conservative coach in every way. You know that he will not get involved in much of a risk. He has great confidence in his quarterback, Bobby Hebert, who he played against when he was coach of the Stars in the USFL. As a matter of fact, it was Hebert who lost the USFL championship to Jim Mora in the season of 1985, but he has an offense that's conservative. Don't turn it over, and you can expect that he will have a conservative call here and rely on a defense, a very strong defense.
You know, Frank, there would be a temptation for New Orleans to keep the ball on the ground to let the clock run down. But because of where Dallas has stopped the clock with 2:08, New Orleans can go ahead and throw the football because what the heck, an incomplete pass doesn't matter. The clock's going to stop at the 2-minute warning anyway. So really, this is an invitation for New Orleans to go ahead and put the ball up in the air.
And it will be an expression of the confidence that Mora has in Bobby Hebert. In and out of the hands of Lonzel Hill as Hebert just got rid of the football and then he was leveled.
Don't go away.
Do not. 2:04.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. And here's Lonzel Hill with a football right in his hands that would have been good for New Orleans for first down, who drops it. Any rebroadcast or any other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited.
And do not rebroadcast it for Lonzel Hill. Brian Hansen, Kelvin Martin should give the Cowboys good field position. Again, not a good kick by Hansen. It does take a New Orleans bounce. And it's down by New Orleans at the 34-yard line. Reggie Sutton was down there. We get the 2-minute warning at 1:54 remaining. A 45-yard effort by Brian Hansen. We'll be back in the Superdome in a moment. Back in the Superdome, nobody has left the Superdome. The Saints lead the Dallas Cowboys 17-14. 1:54 remaining in the game. The Cowboys have no timeouts. They have a first down and 10. The ball inside the 35-yard line. And now the pressure once again on Steve Pelluer, who has performed admirably tonight, not only as a passer, but as a runner in critical situations.
Well, the pressure is just magnified many times over because there's no timeouts. And will Roger Ruzick get another chance? That's all a kicker can ever hope for. When it goes wrong like it went wrong last time, all you say to yourself is just let me have another stab at it.
Crowd on its feet. Pelluer, screen Newsome. Newsome keeps it alive as long as he can, steps out of bounds, a yard short of the first down at the 44-yard line, but stops the clock at 1:47.
That's all you need. They have plenty of time to be patient, to knock it off at 7 and 8 and 9 yards at a crack. No need to go for it all at once. A good call that time by the Cowboys and well executed. And Timmy Newsome used the sidelines like the veteran ball carrier he is. Maximized his yardage and then got out of bounds.
2nd and 1. Pelluer, Martin, and the Cowboys are within field goal range. Not high percentage field goal range, but they are there.
Well, they're at 55 yards right now. They need to move the ball a good 10 yards farther down the field. But they're working on it in plenty of time.
No timeouts. Pelluer again. Perhaps better advised had Kelvin Martin taken the ball out of bounds. Clock continues to tick off.
Now here's where Pelluer has to keep his presence. Stay calm, over a minute to go. You got time. Play it cool.
2nd and 2. Herschel Walker. He has the first down, keeps it alive. The clock will continue to tick.
I don't know that the folks here in the Superdome can quite believe it. I know this guy can't.
Steve Pelluer stops the clock with 40 seconds. And as the other members of the NFC East looks on, you could say the Cowboys are back.
How big was that first down little dink pass to Herschel Walker? It gave Pelluer the freedom to go ahead and stop the clock on a first down play. Now it's 2nd down, 40 seconds left on the clock. So the Cowboys now have both the clock and the yardsticks in their favor with 2nd down. They still have opportunities to use the middle of the field. They can't be concerned about not getting up and not running a play. They've got plenty of time to move the ball as far as they want.
Good look at a young man who's taken control of this game. You were in the huddle. Steve Pallor on 2nd down and long. Beautiful shot to Walker, and Walker is able to get out of bounds, stop the clock with 35 seconds remaining. And again, I cannot tell you how impressed I am personally with Steve Pallor after what we have watched, the terrible error he made in the Pittsburgh game that most of the Cowboys feel that he lost in the season opener. Some of the calls that he made in Phoenix, but he has been brilliant tonight.
He has been lustily booed at Texas Stadium, Steve Pallor. And that last throw with the blitz on, falling backwards, throwing all the way across the field to Herschel Walker. I mean, most people playing this position in the NFL aren't capable of making that throw.
3rd down and 4 from this spot on the field. We'd be looking at about a 38-yard field goal. A safe pass in the corner of the end zone again by Steve Pallor. Threw it away from any possible interception. And that will bring up 4th down. Reggie Sutton again, the intended victim.
He's trying to get Ray Alexander, and look at the quality of this coverage. There's Sutton, but over from the inside. We're going to see another Saint, but look at Reggie Sutton get his arm right between Ray Alexander's hands, and here it comes on 4th down.
A short while ago, Ruzak missed from the same distance, 39 yards.
Well, he's going to get his second chance.
Just to tie it up. Yes. Ruzak splits the uprights. We are tied at 17 with 24 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, and an eerie quiet has spread over the Superdome. Tom Landry.
Refresh my memory, but didn't we have overtime last week?
Indeed we did. And we were on 8 o'clock Eastern. We were on 9 o'clock Eastern. Quite a football game. Both teams needing this game to stay abreast of the leaders in their respective divisions. Let's look again. Ruzak, we told you about his long holdout. He reported on the 26th of August, signed a big contract. The fine, however, still is in place, and it's a major fine at $1,000 a day. As we look at Tom Landry's reaction, he was on the ineligible list.
That's about as animated as you ever see Tom get.
Well, that's not exactly right. I mean, Tom gets that from the cameras being on him, mostly from television, but I used to play with Tom, played under him for a while, and he's quite an individual. He has great values, and most certainly he's one of the most respected coaches around. It was the defensive coordinator who told us today, Steve Sidwell, that he thought he was the finest offensive coach that has ever been in this game. That's pretty high respect. Talked about the innovations that Tom brought to this game long before it was used by every team, and that is the multiple offenses, the moving of people around. But right now, the Cowboys have tied this up with 24 seconds remaining to be played. Ruzak. Line drive. Bobbled by Mel Gray at the 5. And Mel Gray to the 44-yard line. The Saints have 2 timeouts, and they are in an area of the football field where they could perhaps think about getting this into field goal range.
Yeah, I think they're going to do more than just think about it. I think we're going to see Bobby Hebert with those 2 timeouts. No slouch in the black and gold on the other side, Morton Anderson. Now, this guy here is as solid as they come.
He has hit in his career from 55 yards out. You can keep that in mind. He is the all-time NFL leader in field goal accuracy, just close to 80%. He has missed earlier this year from 53 yards out.
You would think that the Saints need something in the area of about 25 yards to get down and make it less than a 50-yard field goal.
The shotgun, a luxury the Saints can use, the Cowboys can't in the noise of the Superdome. Hebert steps up, Looks to Lonzel Hill, incomplete. 11 seconds remaining.
Nothing was really open that time. Credit the Cowboys and their secondary. They had everything buttoned up tight downfield, and the pass rush was enough to force Hebert to come out of the pocket and throw off balance. 11 seconds. Still at least 25 yards, 23 to 25 yards needed to get in Anderson's range.
Shotgun again on second down. Downs becoming academic. Out of bounds. Perriman was the intended receiver. Had Hebert been able to squeeze it in between the two defenders, Bates and Francis.
And that's almost, Frank, the type of pattern that Hebert is going to be limited to next time around. With 7 seconds on the clock, he's not going to have the luxury of going back and standing in his pocket for 3 or 4 seconds and surveying the field. No matter what he does, it's going to have to be 1 step, 2 step, throw the football. It's got to be a timing pattern all the way. No time to survey the field for Hebert.
Jim Mora looking on.
I know what has to be discouraging to him is that the Saints had a 14-0 lead early in this ballgame.
Could be the final play of the game. Did he get out of bounds?
Well, they can call timeout. They called a timeout and stopped the clock.
So we will see Morton Anderson. Great effort by Hebert, Perriman on the sidelines. They were able to stop the clock with the timeout, and Perriman had not gotten out of bounds. Good execution by the entire offensive unit. Good thinking and a great effort by Hebert to get the ball into Perriman.
When I said that they were going to have to run a pattern similar to the one they ran last time, they came back and ran the exact pattern. A 2-step drop by Hebert. He puts up the ball, and here's a smooth little 50-yarder.
Very makeable for Morton Anderson. His career best, 55 yards. He did that in 1985.
Look at it. Comparison to Larry Bird and a free throw. Bird, a 90% free throw shooter. Anderson, field goals inside the 50, a 90%. Why would I think that a field goal from this distance is a little tougher than a free throw? Pretty impressive stat for Morton Anderson.
Somebody's been digging down there, Mr. Univac.
Well, if he makes this place is going to come apart.
49 yards will be the official yardage. Ryan Hansen, the punter, is the holder. On its way. It's good. No time remaining. The Saints have won on a 49-yard field goal by Morton Anderson. Can feel so good when you win.
As they say in New Orleans, who dat gonna beat them Saints? Not the Cowboys tonight.
Effort by Morton Anderson. Time expired with the ball in flight. The Saints win it. They go to 4-1. They stay with the 49ers and the Rams in the NFC Western Division.
And this field goal did not clear this crossbar by more than a couple of feet. Watch this thing drop right over like a little Texas leaguer. No more than 3 or 4 feet over the crossbar. Morton Anderson's 49-yarder.
And what drama. The Cowboys suffering a loss that has to hurt. They are now 2-3. They fall out of first place in the NFC Eastern Division. We We hope you've enjoyed it. It's been something special tonight. Again, the final score, New Orleans 20, the Dallas Cowboys 17. Tomorrow, ABC Sports coverage of the League Championship Series begins when the New York Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 1 of the National League contest. And the next week on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the New York Giants battle the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see you next from Philadelphia. Thank you for being with us.